Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 4. This evening we've got the top split drivers tackling Spa-Francorchamps for the very first time in an extra special long event. We bring you the 2.4 hours of Spa this evening, and as always on a Sunday, I'm joined by the ever so talented Gareth Ronda in the commentary booth. How are you doing this evening, Gareth?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good.
Very excited to see a longer event coming out of the sprint series.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good one to have. It was a special event that was announced during the. It was a special event that was announced during the sign-up period, and we finally got to it. It was so long ago when that sign-up period happened that we finally managed to get to it, and it was one that I definitely wanted to take part in. But obviously, being in the rookie split, we can't. But we'll see how our top tier drivers fare today. Especially around the event. And actually, we're going to go into our first video because this event is the test event for what we've got coming up at the end of the season. And I'm going to bring you that now with what we've got lined up for you coming at the end and what you've all been working really hard to see. So there we go then, ladies and gentlemen. So following the conclusion of our first championship season, we're going to be bringing you 2.4 hours of Bath First for all of our drivers across all 3 splits. And to clarify how it's going to work, the top split, the top 10 of the top split, the top 10 of Rookie Split Black, the top 10 of Rookie Split Red will be in one division, most likely separated by Am, Silver and Pro tier. And then the position 11 to position 20 of all 3 splits will be in the second group, and the people that are P21 and below, because all of our splits have all got different amounts of drivers in them, they'll all be in the final race tier. Again, all separated by the Pro, Am or Pro, Silver or Am category to designate what tier they're in. So everyone's going to get to be involved. I know there's a little bit of confusion last night in the Discord as to whether or not it was only the top 10 positions, or it was all the positions, or it was everyone involved. So it is everybody actually involved. And are you looking forward to it, Gareth?
That's incredibly exciting. I love big grids. Big grids multi-class racing is probably some of my favourite. So big grids is big. Bar First is big. I had my first tries around there last night. Managed to wreck my car on the first lap, but it's actually surprisingly simple when you start getting through it. Like, being fast from there is obviously hard as hell, but just getting a lap round there, it's actually surprisingly simple. So after that, I'm even more excited. I can't wait to give it a go.
Yeah, exactly. It looks very daunting from the outset. I remember tackling it for the first time in Project Cars 2 last season, a few months ago, and I was like, just get me out through this week. Like, it was like midway through the championship season. I think it was like round 5 as well. I was like, just get me through this week and out the other side. But actually driving it, just a touch. I've done a couple of laps. I think I've done my track medals for Bathurst, and it was actually felt a lot easier. So yes, a few people in the chat are noticing today. 3 of us have been at Brands Hatch, and I have picked up some new merch to go along. So we've got the GT Championship Series hat, as you can all see. It was at the British GT Championship. It was a great time. we've got the Aston Martin shirt. We're supporting my boy Shane Thomas, but then I've also noticed that my other boy Paul Glover's driving the Aston Martin, and that makes me want to change my shirt, to be honest, because he gives me too many penalties. But we've also very lastly got the Aston Martin Racing Cup as well going. So we've got a load of new merch on show. I couldn't let you go. I've had all the merch, all the hats to yourself. So we've got a couple more lined up as well that we picked up today at Brands Hatch.
I only have one hat of a car that's actually in this series. I think. Well, I have the Ferrari hat and the McLaren hat, so I guess that's two. I need to get some more.
Yeah, so I managed to acquire a Brands Hatch hat for when if we ever do Brands Hatch.
I'm sure we'll do Brands Hatch again.
And I also wanted a McLaren hat, but they were like £35. So instead we picked up a golf hat that was on sale for like.
See, that's why you need to get a couple seasons old Fernando Alonso hat, because.
Yeah, I looked for Fernando Alonso hat. So actually, it was when when he re-announced his join into Formula One next season, and also announced that he was going to be doing IndyCar as well. So I was just like, oh, there goes the prices of that. Yeah, we were definitely. There was a few of us from ACCSS at Brands Hatch today. Actually, myself, Ash, and Webby were all there. And what we noticed is ACC does a great job translating the looks of the cars. They need to do a better job at translating the sound, because the Aston Martin sounded so chunky, like as in a nice way chunky. Like it was the cars were unreal. To be honest,
I've heard that the Lexus in real life sounds much chunkier as well.
Yeah,
which,
so they
obviously would be big for you.
Well, the thing is, the Aston Martin for me sounded louder than the Bentley. To be fair, the Bentley at Brands Hatch today crashed out halfway through the race. But like when they were coming across, we were sat on the grandstand at T1 and watching them all come past. Like I was amazed by the sound of the AMG, the roar of the AMG was absolutely unreal. And then like the gear changes and the backfires out of the Astons were just absolutely phenomenal as well. Like they were absolutely great. But anyway, back to our race this evening. So our race this evening is a slightly different format, like I've said before. It's 2 hours and 24 minutes. That works out to be 2.4 hours of Spa. Our drivers still get 15 minutes of qualifying. So they still get the full amount of qualifying. Actually, we're going to take you on a very quick tour, because I've not realised we've not done the track map yet. So we're going to take you on a very, very quick tour of Spa. And if you're new to the series or never seen the track before or never seen any of the streams that we've had over the weekend, this weekend, then this will be new to you. So we'll be back shortly after we show you around Spa. Welcome to round 4 of ACC Sprint Series, and it's Endurance Week here for our drivers. And we're heading around Spa-Francorchamps. And the first action zone we're going to head into is going to be Eau Rouge into Radion, all the way down the Kemmel Straight. And our drivers will find a lot of time here if they can manage to keep their foot planted to the floor, and it's definitely a confidence thing rather than whether the cars are able to do it. So after they've hit max revs down the Kemmel Straight, you're going to head into the double right-hander of Bruxelles, and then that will take you into the more wooded section of our track. So we've got the two right-handers there into the left-handers, and it will take us all the way down to finish sector 2 around campus. So after we've hit that part of the section, it's the long flat-out straights that end up in Blanchimont. The nice kink left-hander. It's going to really test our drivers. Again, easy flat for most of us. But if you're going to be lacking any confidence, that's where the drivers are going to lose some time before hitting the brakes nice and hard for the bus stop chicane before they cross the line. And that'll be a nice lap of Spa-Francorchamps. There we go then. So that was the little tour that we've got for you. For Spa this evening, and we're going to go and have a little look at the championship standings as well. Just 2 seconds while I bring them up on my other monitor. Sorry, and we can bring those. Two-factor authentication with Steam, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me your gripes in the chat about that, because it always catches me out, especially when I need it. And because I've been out,
comes at the worst times, definitely.
Exactly, because I left at 7 a.m. this morning to go to Brands Hatch, and I've only just got back about half an hour ago. We're totally not very well set. It's not as smooth and fluid today as it normally is. Well,
as you look for it, I can tell you that we have Florian Lupiaz, who is leading our top split championship so far in the Ferrari, with Shane Thomas and I still am not confident enough to attempt to say his first name, Markowski, as the next two drivers in the Aston Martin, the Lamborghini, with an Audi in fourth. So
I think it's very
I
similar to Michael Markowski. I know it's going to have some sort of accent. It's very. I think it's similar to that. I've not actually asked him, to be fair.
All right. Well, he's up in the chat a lot, so I'll ask him at some point. For now, he's Mikey Markowski. We'll go with that.
So we've got no free time winners yet. So hopefully, well, I say hopefully, we don't want to see anyone. We don't want to see any of our boys you're banned, really. But if Afik or Markowski can pull off a win this evening, then they will see themselves. They'll be the first ones to be your banned.
And interestingly, Andrews has got a win as well, even though he's right down in tied sixth, a freeway tie between himself, Hughes, and Satch.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a really close battle at the top, to be honest. Like I said, we've still Shane Thomas P2. He's very similar to Julian Strasser in the rookie red split. In fact, he's not got a win yet, but he's always consistently at the top of the table, which helps him out a lot. Some of the names that sort of surprised me being, not surprised me being this high, but Matamune, we've not seen. I surprisingly haven't shown him a lot of camera time. Like, I don't recognise him from being on the camera a lot. The other guys obviously do. Obviously, Florian for the pit stops, Shane for the consistency, Markowski for the wins, especially around Mazzano as well.
I think Matamuna has just been in an awkward position where he's never quite been in those top three. We have a bit of a situation like in F1 in the top split sometimes where, and it's a different three every time, but people like Lupiaz, Thomas, Markowski will often be in a pack of three heading away from everyone. And I think Matamuna's been consistently fourth, but far enough behind them that we don't see him, and far enough in front of the mid pack that we don't see him as well. Yeah,
exactly. So he's always finding himself consistently around. So who's surprising you really though? If we scroll down the table a little bit and we go to the bottom, there's only a 33 driver grid, so we'll catch with the middle pack shortly. But who's surprising you looking at the bottom of the table?
Yenba and Yelato being in 20th and 21st, I would have thought they would be higher up, both very fast. I know Yenba recently especially has had a lot of bad luck in some of his races, so that can be attributed to quite a bit of that. Paul Glover can also be quite fast. He's had a few incidents and a couple of silly mistakes like not having enough fuel and stuff.
He's got that big one incident mark next to him on the... he's got a big incident mark next to him, which not a lot of drivers. So it's a prestigious title. He probably gave it to himself, to be fair. But hey,
stand out.
I think the ones that surprised me, though, obviously my boy Colbeer. My boy Colbjorn Albu being down in 28th. He picked the car because he enjoyed it through one of the... I think it was Battle Italy, wasn't it? The first Battle Series we done. But it actually hasn't translated very well across any of the tracks that we've driven so far. And actually, he's also struggling around here as well. So that's going to be one to watch. I think Bunatik's obviously being in 24th, but we know he's missed a couple of events and he is, like I said, quite a popular YouTuber. So he's
had
got
a few incidents as well getting back. Unfortunately, like in Misano, he had a few big crashes.
The famous Bunatik's pile driver.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, in the middle of the table, Lysine, like one of the ones that have always come from the back of the grid to the front of the grid. So he's doing well. And then obviously Steve Worrell, we know what he can do. As long as he can stay clean. If he can stay clean, especially for this 2.4 hour race.
Exactly the same as that for Venner right behind them as well. Another very fast driver who's down in the mid pack.
Yeah, definitely. Like there's a lot of these fast guys that are here, and they need to push themselves through, or like now they've seen the announcement for Bathurst, they need to rely on how good they are at Bathurst because they're going to be fighting like the mid pack rookies, which can, like, as we both know, can find themselves in a very sticky situation sometimes, being in the mid pack of the rookies.
I'm sure someone like Julian might do some spreadsheet madness, spreadsheet magic for us, but it's very hard for us right now to say who will come first because of the rule that we have where your bottom two results are cancelled. So if you miss a week, not too bad, you'll get them cancelled. If you have a few bad races, you can get them cancelled out. So some people who've be very consistent won't actually have many more points to make at this point in the championship. Some of the people like Shane Thomas, who has been up in that, forever second place, like Strasser himself, they might actually not have many more points to make up because unless they finish first, there's not much to make, and they won't have. They'll have good results taken away because all their results have been so consistent.
Exactly, and I mean, I find myself when we've been driving, like, especially in our races, like, it's fine, I can have a bad race, it will get deleted, and I've now probably done that for 5 of our 8 races, and I'm like, what am I going to be left with? But no, like I said, some of these top guys, like, they're gonna reach, like, there's not a points cap, as it were, but effectively there is a points cap. They're going to reach it.
They will reach their ceiling,
whereas the other guys like Steve, Ollie, Becca, Bludyshev, all of them guys have got so many more points to capitalise on with just taking their worst couple off at the end of the day. So what else have we got? So we're going to have... what we're going to do is we had a special guest last night on stream, and Steve has asked me... to re-show the video this evening because he had a few technical difficulties and there was also a few technical difficulties as well. So a special guest for the stream, had a nice shout out for some of our rookie drivers last night, was Jimmy Broadbent. Now the apology that comes in advance is Steve plonked a camera and a microphone in him after he'd had a pretty dreadful go-karting race that he was taking part in. He was near the top and then finished further down the order. And Steve decided, all right, let's go. Let's plonk a camera in front of him, and also didn't take into account for the win. So we've got some subtitles for you, but here's the words of Jimmy Broadbent to encourage our drivers this evening and encourage our drivers for the rest of the season.
I was going to have a special guest for this broadcast, and here he is himself, Mr. Jimmy Broadbent.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Jimmy, you're in your karting outfit, so you've obviously been racing today. Not the result that you wanted, but
yeah, it was, as always, pace is there, but brain isn't. So got to just get the brain going.
But we've been doing this for about a year now, right? And from when we first started doing this, you were at the back, and it was like not really much hope of getting a podium. But now you were quick enough to be on the podium today.
Yeah, but maybe quick enough to actually to win out maybe in our class, of course. But it's experience will come.
Yeah. And in terms of like the skills that you take from sim racing, how much of it have you applied today, and how much do you apply to like real world racing and stuff?
I think that like you take it over into sim and then you have a race craft as well comes from sim racing, because otherwise, I mean, where are you going to practice these moves? You can't. You have to do it on the track on the day. That is why I've been racing line. So it's something you can't get in sim racing. The weight in the car is something you have to learn. But once you sort of put those things together, I think you're a running start. And again, from last year, now challenging for podiums. I think it kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah. And about league racing, so the league that we run is specifically for rookies, so people who have never done online racing before, or perhaps have done online racing but on the slower side than me. In terms of league racing, have you got any tips for our guys, because they're like I say, a lot of them are new. What can they do to make sure that they sort of move? Basically, if you win our league, you get banned because you're clearly too quick to be racing with us. So, how do we get our slower guys up to the front?
Do you get people slowing down at the end?
Well, there's a couple of people which I'm thinking, I really don't want you to win because you're a nice guy.
Yeah.
But I think there might be some of that.
Okay, I mean, like with league racing and just racing in general, it's about getting to the end cleanly. Don't listen to me today because that ain't it. But yeah, just focus on putting in consistent laps. People go out there and do qualifying karts.
Oh, there we go.
And do qualifying laps in practice. That ain't how you go fast. Like, great, you're really fast over the qualifying, but in the race you can't string in 2 or 3 laps together. Go out there and just be consistent. Try and get maybe half a second a lap a few times. You can do that, you'll have a good race. And importantly, you've got to have fun. So.
Yeah. Well, wise words, because it's Spa for our race today. So consistency is absolutely key. Get to the end. Please have a clean lap 1. I can't be bothered with a big pile up.
Murder.
Yeah, impress Jimmy, please. Anyway, it's about to get really loud. Thank you so much, Jimmy, and I'll see you at the next one.
Good luck, guys.
Cheers.
You used to bring the smell of rain into my bed and lie so close to me. You could be inside my head. Maybe it's a once in a lifetime kind of thing to feel the kind of magic that your love brings.
God, why am I in helmet cam? Get off this.
And we're in, ladies and gentlemen. We are into qualifying. So we have got a lot of laps to get through this evening. 15 minutes of qualifying. And I can't find where the fastest lap... There it is. I couldn't find where the fastest lap overlay was from Friday night. So it looked like someone had it. So Min-Mams looks like he's doing the first... He is the first one out the pit lane. He's on a hot lap currently. And we'll see...
And I can tell you that he has already invalidated it.
Nice. So 129. See, we're working. We're working it. See, the system we're talking about in the ad breaks, it's working. It's flowing.
Shout out to Lars Kastra. So the next driver out on the field will be car 129.
Yeah, it's Dan Andrews. So I'm not sure.
He's still on his lap. He's going fine.
Good stuff. So he is currently at 132 then, as he's going through the S's. He had a really good first and second sector. Let's see how he pulls the rest of the laps on. So how are you doing in chat this evening? I do apologise, Webby. I missed the 400 wife coins. So thank you very much for that. If you're looking to, if you're watching the stream this evening, welcome to the stream. My name is Dan Terry and I'm joined by Gareth Ronda in the commentary booth. And we are part of ACC Sprint Series. And this is a one-off event. It is round 4 of the championship. Normally these drivers do 2 30-minute races with 1 mandatory pit stop. But for Spa, we are doing 2.4 hours, 1 solid race, 2.4 hours with 2 mandatory pit stops. Dan Andrews is the first across the line. Let's see what benchmark he lays down. It's a 2:19.3. It's a very, very fast time. Really, really fast time. And it's
very close.
Yeah,
very close.
Next car, well, I want to have a little look at if I can find him.
And the third driver to set it is David Jessett, who has the exact same first sector. And interestingly, Thomas has the exact same second sector as Andrews.
So all pulled it out of the bag at the end. Then it's probably that. It's that the gains that they make into the. It's the gains they make into the chicane, which Rob Brining, who we're looking at the moment, is about to come in to. And they're the gains that you make. There's very small little gaps in the final sector. All do payoffs. There's a yellow flag ahead. Some 5:05 putting off to the side. Robert Brining is invalidated. Okay, that's fine.
Looking at the timetable so far, a lot of people having invalidated laps is something that we expected on this track. Very easy, especially up Radian, obviously, but there's a few places where you can invalidate your lap. People will be pushing a lot of curbs to try and hit those sub 220s as Lupiaz hits the 218.9 already. Absolutely
flying, that man. As I said, that's what we're talking about now. We're starting to really establish where in our order these guys kind of sit. And Florian, like I said, definitely up there. Markowski 218 flat. Markowski is nearly in the 217s. I know he's got it in his back. He's not bragging. Isn't the word for Markowski. Markowski doesn't brag, but he's already put in the chat
very humble
that he can hit a 217 if he needs to. And that was absolutely nuts from him. Who are we looking? Who's coming towards the end? Is 129 on a lap?
129 is on a lap. He's almost 3 temps up, but he's been blocked a little bit by this Porsche in front of him.
Oh, this is Minman's first lap as well.
Had to back out a little bit because of that. He's lost all his time because of that Porsche there. Unfortunately, getting traffic. Oh, and he has to dive out the way to not hit him.
Oh, come on, Dan. You're a steward. You know that's risky. Also looking at it, Jonathan Shungle's up on his time, so Minmams goes in 14th.
Little point about Markowski as well. He is the only driver to have all 3 purple sectors.
And
so
Shungle's just gone into the 218.5s as well, so it's absolutely nuts. Who else?
A lot of times throughout our series, we've looked at the fastest of the rookie laps and been like, they're pretty on point with some of the top split drivers, but this has just been an annihilation from these top split drivers.
It's pretty much top 10 for some of our faster rookie qualifiers could find themselves in top 10, and at the moment, I believe the time set by Ash on Friday would find himself in P11 at the moment. Brining, P12 now because Brining's just gone in third. Let's look at some of these.
Getting smashed and smashed as Janba sets the new fastest sector, going 19.5.
Paul Joseph,
overall.
7 temps up. Let's see where that puts him up 1 position. Let's have a little look in the chat while some of these drivers are coming over the line. Sax, we're on board with at the moment. So, yeah, if you join the Discord, where you can use the sign up link there, you can get yourself involved. If you're not signed up at the moment, you can get. If you're not signed up to the championship ends in 2 weeks' time, and you can get yourself involved in the Tuesday and Wednesday night races. We've not announced what they are yet, but if you're eager and look on Sim Racing GP, you'll be able to find them and sign yourselves up. And our Battle Series actually concludes on Tuesday as well. So the last of the Battle Series races, which has been very much a fan favourite of the ACC.
Cannot wait for that.
I'm so glad I came up with that idea and it was taken on board. I love it. I love what that the
It's
format.
a nightmare, and I cannot wait for it.
Should we just tell them what it is? Should we tell them what it is, Gareth?
It's already on SGP. They
So,
can find it if they want it.
Battle America is coming this Tuesday evening. It's Chevrolet Camaros at Laguna Sec. And I cannot wait. Honestly, it's going to be dry as well, so it's not like the other Wednesday with Battle France, where it was absolutely chucking it down with rain. It's going to be, and because we've also decided that we're no longer going to be covering our Tuesday and Wednesday night streams through the mainstream, it also means I get to race in them as well, which is something I'm personally unfortunately very happy about. Obviously, I'd love to be able to show you guys all the footage, but in the grand scheme of things, I was racing 1 day a week and working 6 days a week on the stream. So I need to find some time to race.
We might still manage to show bits of it and stuff. It just won't be on the ACCS channel. But if you are in our Discord, there is anyone streaming channel, and there will be plenty of individual coverage going on for all of our communities.
Yeah, that one absolutely pops off. Is anyone streaming races? There's loads of our community members, like I say, like Gareth does his POV stream, especially for those races. I expect to see them there, and a few other drivers as well. And you'll also be able to find we do an ACCSS Americas section of ACC Sprint Series, and quite a few of their drivers actually stream their POVs. Pardon me, got a yawn coming. It's been a long day.
And they have a race today as well, ACC America. I believe it's a pretty consistent thing that they've been doing, which I really like, is they do a race a little while after the top slip finishes normally. So I believe it's 11:30 today. They're doing a race around Bathurst.
I just want to hold the phone very shortly. If Markowski's valid, it's a 2:17.5.
Markowski, is he valid?
He is valid, and it's a 2:17.5. What is a man doing to me?
He said he could do it.
Even Lupiaz is up as well, but Lupiaz is going through the first sector of the track at the moment. But
although he does have this first sector still, so being up there is nice if he can hold it.
Absolutely astounding. Oh, 2:17.5, and he just retires to pits. He's going to set the car up for the 2.4 hours.
I think even someone as fast as Markowski, that's probably about the fastest he's done from talking to him, and so I think he's just like, yep, that's done. No point to waste any more time.
Yeah, exactly. This is definitely like just unreal times from Markowski. And 2:16s are alien. Yes, Lupiaz definitely invalidates his lap there. Let's have a look. Dave Jessett, Coach Dave, been working really. Actually, it's Coach David, isn't it? Because he's not the same person as Coach Dave, and that's probably trademarked, and I'll probably get in trouble.
Sure.
Coach David, then our rookie coach on a Thursday evening on the practice servers, is gone up to put himself in P5 with an absolute rapid 2:18.6, by the way, and he's still a second. Let's just put that lap from Markowski into perspective. Like, he's a 2:18.6. He's a fifth. Okay, so Ash's qualification time would currently put him at P15.
P15 is
I don't who qualified pole last night. Can anyone tell me in the chat? Because I was racing and I didn't notice because I was at the back. And also, if they happen to know their time, that would also be massively appreciated.
I do not know. I was back and forth between that and IndyCar, but very impressive times. Just to say, I see a couple of new people chatting about learning ACCS.
I've saved some questions. Saved some questions.
Well, save it when we have more time then. That's a good idea. That's smart, because it's going to be a long race, so we're going to need to do some chatting
Yeah,
as
sorry, I
we
didn't want to
see
butt in then
who's up on
because
their
we
times.
do like to interact with our chat, as a lot of our regular streamers will know. But we've got a 2.4-hour race coming up,
Add it to my notepad.
so we have saved a couple of questions to chuck in during the stream. So please feel free to stick around. And if you've not followed the channel, feel free to follow the channel. And you'll get notified whenever we go live, which is every Friday and Sunday evening at the moment. And hopefully we'll be able to get you some Saturday streaming for next week. Maybe if I sweet talk Gareth and Julian and maybe offer them some cake or something. Yeah, so Mika Maninka's time then would put him P13. Ash Bloomfield's time would put him P16 at the moment in this split. So last lap's coming in from some of our drivers. Dan Andrews is up. He's 3 tenths up at the moment towards coming out of the first sector into the second sector. So LRG, there's definitely seats open for the community races on a Tuesday and Wednesday. And the race on Tuesday is Laguna Sec, which is a DLC race. It's not a DLC race, it's a DLC track, sorry. And then the race on the Wednesday is Paul Ricard. So that is the track. And actually, if you're doing the single player campaign, like I've seen you mention, if you can get to the endurance stages of if you're doing the full campaign, like I know I am, about half after the Silverstone 1 hour race, you could then get a Paul Ricard 2 hour race, which is perfect practice, in my opinion, really, for this sort of style. But then again, to know the track layout, that is, though, because it depends what class you're doing the career in. Because it is GT3s on Wednesday? Around Paul Ricard? Because it was GT4 the other day, wasn't it?
I believe so. I think it was GT4 last time. I'll have a check just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Paul Ricard Summer Sprint then. So it's a 40-minute race on Wednesday around Paul Ricard, and it is GT3s. I'll tell you what, I was a big F1 fan until I went to Brands Hatch today. That is.
It's always exciting GT racing.
We talk. Oh, Dan Andrews goes in P6, by the way, with that qualifying time. Shane Andrews moves himself up into P7. Who else is out on track at the moment? Connell Daly then, and Kolbjorn Albu. These guys are one behind the other, I believe. Oh no, Daly's actually further ahead. We'll stay on board with Daly. The last two cars coming across the line afterwards are 37 and 70. Who's 70? Oh, they're further down the order. That's why I couldn't see them. Oh, 70 Markowski. Markowski did go back out. There we go then. So this drive is over. We're going to jump back over to ourselves. It transitions into the... Oh, turn that off. There we go. As we transition over to the grid order. Plug my controller in for some fancy camera angles.
Beautiful. So we've got a very interesting grid coming up. A lot of the people you'd expect to be up the top: Markowski, Lupiaz, Brenning, Thomas a little lower down than he's been in a few other races, but people like Shingle, Jessett, and Andrews are no slouches. So not surprised to see them so far up.
Yeah, exactly. Some really quick time. So Lupiaz managed to get in within 8 tenths in the end of Lupiaz. 7 tenths even. 7 tenths of Lupiaz. And then Brining found himself in the same sort of pack as well. We go through the grid when they transition over. But yeah, I mean, if we talk about production quality here, because we're obviously drilled into it by Steve and myself, is how we want to show the stream to you guys. If the GT series streams were to match the production quality, or to be fair, they probably haven't got the budget of F1 to do so.
Absolutely.
If they could get the budget, everything's money related. If they could get the budget to match the quality of the stream, I would just politely sack off.
The advantage of it being free to watch on YouTube. If you look at GT World, the YouTube channel, they've got all of the GT stuff there. So much. If you follow GT World and the race on YouTube, you basically have like so much of the best GT racing.
Yeah.
You've got the Super GT, you've got the
and it's
America GT.
It's so frequent as well. Like, it's literally
all the time,
on the GT World YouTube channel. It's got it had British GT State, it had Road America, is it GT America or whatever they're
GT, SRO America.
Yeah, so SRO America had their Road America series as well. And then we've got I think the French one was this weekend as well, was it not? There was a French series race.
There was the European
European
series at Le Castellet, which is one of my favourite series. Really great as prototypes as well.
So yeah, see if you're getting if you are into F1 in real life and you want to have a look at what the GT series looks like. Sorry, I wasn't laughing at that comment. I'm laughing at what I've just seen on screen. Which we will transition over to now. But like I said, if you're really a big fan of F1 on the TV, you'll be a great big fan. If you go and follow GT World on YouTube, you'll find loads and loads of interesting things that can help you out, that you can watch and learn. And like I said, the liveries are a lot better for GT cars anyway, as we saw today. Because some of the liveries today, they were on fire.
I love that, the new Aston Martin, the black and yellow one. It's fantastic.
Oh, the bright yellow GT4 one.
GT4s are quite nice.
I'll tell you what one took mine, and I know they took Webby's fancy as well. Was the McLaren number 9, number 10 McLaren.
The blue ones.
The black and blue ones. Oh, they was just in real life. They're just so fun. But anyway, we're gonna jump back to our race stream. We're gonna go through the podium the grid order for you then. And I was laughing because I didn't realise we start at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Yep.
So we're going to start in the dark then, and our drivers will progress throughout the full 24 hours of Spa in 2.4 hours. So we've got a 13-degree track temperature. Let's see who of our drivers will notice that and take account to that. So on pole then is Markowski, Lupiaz in P2, Robert Brining in P3, Jonathan Shingle in P4. Just going to slow this camera down a little bit. It's a little bit fast. David Jess at P5, 129, Dan Andrews in P6, Shane Thomas in P7, Victor Yanabat in P8, Noah Matamoni in P9, Ashley Hudson in P10, Leonard Shingle in P11, Mattia Lysin then in P12. Then we've got Steve Worrell and Steve Hughes in 13 and 14. Paul Glover then and Spludishev in 15 and 16. Florian Sachs, Jermaine Smith in 17, 18. Madam Mams, Connell Daly in P19, 20. Ashley Grealis and Paul Joseph, P21 and 22. David Becker or Dennis Becker? I've forgotten. Why has that gone out of my name? It's going so well. But Becker in P23, Stepan Couton P24, Colbjorn Albu 25, Wayne Hutchinson in P26 then. So that is going to be our grid order for today's race. Who has disappointed you in qualifying?
It's hard to say anyone's disappointed with how just fast this field is overall. But I mean, when you look at people like Kuflin and Albu being right at the back, that just shows you how fast the field is. But I think there's a few people who could have gone a bit faster. I know Glover can be pretty fast, so I would have liked to see him a little bit higher. Daly, I think, is surprisingly low for how fast he can be.
Do you know what I've just noticed is not here?
Who?
Afik's not here.
Afik's not here. You are correct.
Afik's not here. There's no Afik. There's no Venner. We've got 26 of our 33 drivers, so there's 7 missing this evening. I noticed Afik, Venner. Who else? Is anyone in the front order massively missing?
I believe I know where Afik is as well.
Is he chilling after the 12-hour Suzuka race last night?
No, I think it might be my fault. I think he's a madman, and I think he's participating in a 2-hour, 40-minute Daytona mixed class race, which I was going to be participating in, but I had to join my boys here and keep up, so I didn't hop in. But he's going to be driving a Toyota LMP in that.
Ah, fair enough.
We wish him luck doing well there. He's done so well in the other races. He's got a few that he can let off, perhaps. This can
be one of his banker dropouts. So
it's a smart one to miss actually, because you only miss one.
But it's double points. You're missing out on double points by not being here.
You are possibly missing out on double. That's very true.
So we're off on our formation lap then, and I'm still playing around with this free cam on Muck. Oh no, we've had an incident.
It's so rubby up.
We've had a boo-boo already, Gareth.
What has happened?
I'm on my way.
Have we got a formation lap spinner?
No, we've not got a formation lap spinner.
Forgot to press drive from number 33.
Steve Hughes has forgot to press drive. Hey, we can't. My cat. There he is. We found him.
Interestingly, we have. I was talking about Kuthan, who did surprising, or not surprising, but just a shout out to how fast this grid is. Seeing him right at the back, he was second in class at the 12-hour of Suzuka last night, along with Steve Hughes. So maybe he's just brains a little bit gone from so much concentration at that time.
And we will touch back on last night's 12-hour Suzuka during our race. This is why we should have done a shared Google Doc.
Absolutely. It's fine, we can bring things up again. It's all good.
There you go. Look at that. Man in the... He's literally eye in the sky, Julian Straza. He found me the qualifying time of Minica. He's just found me all the drivers that are missing this evening. Kelmanez, Bruce, Akram, Bunatix, Gelato, Afik, Hutchins. Now Hutchinson's here. Hutchinson's at the back.
Hutchinson's here, yeah. He's qualified last.
He's straight at the back. What is up with that car... ahead? Wait.
Kelman is missing is sad. It's sad to see a fast Ferrari out.
Is it Mimmat? Someone's picked up the barrier. Who is that? Is that just a visual glitch my end? Someone behind Grealish. Is it Becker? I think someone has spun in the formation lap. No, it might be Becker. I think Becker has picked up the total barrier and just dragging it through the part of the formation lap.
Well, that's something I didn't know you could do in ACC, which is a sentence that I find myself saying more and more often.
Bugs, that's another topic. As another topic for later on. Oh. Thank you very much, Webby, for the gifted sub in the chat. Really appreciate it, man. Going to JJTV, Mr. John Turner himself, one of the Bentley boys.
Bentley boys.
Now a sub to the channel.
We don't have any Bentley boys in the top split this race, I believe, unfortunately. Unless there are some hidden at the back that I'm
No, I don't think there are any in the...
Don't think there are, no.
I don't think there are any in general. So I'm going to have a look at... We're going to start at P5 going up by Rouge. I don't know if you want to jump towards the back somewhere.
I will keep my eyes on the back markers, as it were. Quite a nice mix of cars at the front. A lot of Audis up there, which we haven't seen so much in some of the other splits. Although, been talking a lot to some of the Audi drivers in our series, and they think it's going to murder them up Radian. So keep an eye out for some of those.
Can vouch for the Audi murdering people.
Yes. Yeah.
The first ever, long distance. It was like a 90-minute Spa race. Just getting into community racing. And it was damp and greasy, and it was daytime, and I drove the Audi, and it absolutely just murdered me. Repeated time and time again.
Matrix in the chat pointing out something that I was going to say is that this is going to be an extra interesting start. Something we haven't seen is the start at 4 a.m.
No, definitely not.
Which means that tyres will be even colder than usual and will take longer to heat up than usual. So people won't be pushing it to the max halfway around the first lap. They'll have to prepare a little bit more as our
You'd like to think people won't be pushing it to the max, but like you said, we're all sprint drivers.
They'll be trying. Is that a spin? That's not quite a spin. This doesn't quite count as a spin. We've just seen one of the Mercedes down the back. I believe it was Hutchison, just off the track a little bit, but it wasn't quite a spin. It was like a quarter of a spin, and he caught it.
So as our drivers are lining up 2 by 2. Actually, I think Steve Hughes has had a disconnect. He's not even on my list anymore. Oh no, he's at the back. Him and Bludyshev. Bludyshev are in the pits.
Oh, Bludyshev is as well.
Bludishev's not hit the drive button either.
Right from the back.
So here we go then.
I think he spun.
Okay, so we're coming up to green light then for the 2 hours, or 2.4 hours, sorry, of Spa. As Markovsky and Louis Paz brings them round the source over the last few grid positions. And we are foot to the floor, green for the top tier ACC Sprint Series. 2.4 hours of Spa. Let's see how our drivers do. Front 5 or 6 are through nice and clean. Middle pack is nice and clean through. And the rear,
banging.
They're all through. So they all got through the tentative Eau Rouge Radion combo. And we've got a quite a few. Well, pretty much the front 6 have all stayed in grid order.
And Luopaz is going to take Markowski into the first corner at the end of the Kemmel Straight. So fantastic work by there, seeing a Ferrari in first place. Very good, something we haven't seen at Spa for a while. It also looks like Brenning has hopped up in front of Schungel there at the front, which is very nice. Jesset following behind in his Porsche with going very wide there, that Audi there, which I don't think is Andrews. I think that's one of the different Audis who's jumped up, perhaps.
We've just cut through
Yenba.
We've just cut through the first timing beam. The order looks like this. It looks like Louis Paz from Markowski from Schungel, from Brining from Jesset, from Andrews, from Thomas, from Matamuno, from Yanapa, and Leonard Schungel is our top 10. We'll go through the rest shortly. We're just waiting for some of the drivers just to catch up where they are.
Paul Glover and either Smith or Worrell, I can't quite tell, is side by side here. It's Smith. Smith not quite being able to take Paul Glover around. They're coming out of Puon. So they'll settle back in there, but having a nice little fight in the middle of the field.
So Steve Hughes is driving. Bloody Chev and Bruce find themselves in the pit. Is that Becker running wide? There's someone running wide. Is that Sachs? Sachs has run really wide, then coming through. I believe that's Campus. And we're just going to jump to the front of the order as we head into the bus stop for the first time. And can Markowski make it?
Has a good lead, but behind them it looks like Schungel might be looking at it very close there. I had to get out of it at the end there, not to ram into the back of them. The rest of the pack shuffling for in single file, pretty nice there. As again, Glover and Smith are still fighting. Again, Smith not quite managing to make it. Glover with those fantastic brakes on the Aston Martin, keeping his position into the bus stop.
And Worrell's found himself all the way down the order. Something's happened here to Steve Worrell. I think he must have gone wide through Blanchimont. He finds himself down in 20 seconds.
Smith's taken it. He just got round at La Source. A little tap on the back from Glover, and now that's put him on an awkward side of the track, so he's going to lose position to Daly as well, and has Olbu right behind him. As behind them, Kufin and Greatlish also going side by side.
We're going to go 3-2 wide. Oh, that doesn't make one.
Daly's absolutely crashed it.
Oh, there's another
Daly
one at
into
the top.
The side of Smith. Schungel's off as well. Schungel's lost it himself before anyone else even got there. So a nightmare. That leaves Brenning in a nice, safe third position, as we see cars having their second lap incident, as was traditional in our Friday race
and our Saturday race.
You'd already got your incidents out of the way.
I raced. To be fair, I had incidents all throughout yesterday's race. So we're settling in then.
Saturday split doesn't keep it to one lap.
We're settling into the race then. With that, we're settling in that much. I got my feet up.
Beautiful.
Just flicking through the channels then, and the front order looks like this then. Louis Paz, Markowski, Brining finds himself up into third. Jesset, Thomas, Andrews, Matamuna, Yanapa, Schungel and Hudson. Yanapa's had a great start, by the way.
Absolutely.
He hasn't had a great start. He qualified P8 by the looks of it. I thought he qualified further down the order. Who was I getting confused with? There's someone I was getting him confused with.
Joseph?
I don't know. I have to find it.
The other J in the Audi.
Oh yeah, it may have been. Not too sure.
However, honestly, he's managed to get through the first few laps at Spa on them cold tyres. That's still pretty good. It's actually Jonathan Schungel spun again. He's lost it at Puon.
Oh.
Nightmare for Schungel, and he's back in the pits. Looks like he slammed into the wall there. Hopefully, we'll see him getting out there again.
I reckon he's got a very similar level of damage. He's in the side of the wall. He's hit that out, or the pit exit wall, as I'm going to call it. That might not be the right term, but he's hit the pit exit wall like I did, and that just absolutely ruins your rear diffuser and your rear wing. And then as soon as you think you're fine, because you've not got any wheel damage or any suspension damage, your wheel in front of you is still perfectly straight. You've still got full power as you're going down Kemmel Straight, and then you go on the brakes and the whole car just decides to spin. It's what it is.
In fifth, we have a nice little battle here as well between Jesset and Thomas, with Andrews right behind them. They're going side by side down into Eau Rouge, but Thomas takes the smart route and just lets it off. Jesset rolls past him, and we've got a nice little four here. That's Yanba around this, Matamuna around the side of Andrews. Andrews confusing me, I believe, by not being in his regular livery. He is in the green livery of the David Jesset driving school.
Oh, he's not put the right livery on then. So David Jesset slams the door on Thomas into the chicane at the end of the Kemmel Straight. And then Matamuna finds himself a way around Andrews. So like I said, it's a 2 hour, 24-minute race. 2 mandatory pit stops. The pit window should have opened already.
We've still got some action going on as Albu and Graylish are side by side coming out of Les Combes. Albu just having to slot behind now, but with Kufen right behind him. I believe Albu started behind a lot of these guys. Albu, one of the guys who's had a really good start.
Albu started 23rd, he's up to 13th. Kufon started 22nd, he's up to 14th.
Yeah.
So they're really the big winners, whereas we've got the likes of Worrell, Paul Glover, Sachs, Joseph. Obviously, we've got the 3 guys that started in the pit lane. And Jonathan Shingle, biggest, without being abusive to him, biggest loser of the lot. Qualified P4, finds himself in 25, and he's going to be a couple of laps down due to the return to pit. That's the issue I had yesterday anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. It's locks you a long time in there, as we really have 2 big battle packs shaking out now behind our leaders. But still, so far, a lot of cars close together, which is good to see. Can keep us with stuff to look at.
Thomas was looking at the back of... Oh, Thomas had an issue. He was looking at the back of Dave Jessup through Blanchimont, and then comes on to the brakes early, or lifts early, and Masamuna says, thank you very much, and finds himself in P6. That's a great start.
Yeah, very good for Matamuna, jumping on that opportunity as soon as it lands.
Dave Jessup slows down the pack number 1. Is it still Ashley? Oh, Ashley Hudson is on the... Has actually caught up to... They've made a bigger pack here. Ashley Hudson was at the front of group number 2, and he's managed... Oh, it's not Ash Hudson, it's Ash Grealish, that's why. Long day. Ash Grealish is actually on the front of pack number 2. And this
Shingle is leaving the pit lane, so good to see he's still in there.
Yeah, so this pack consists of P12 all the way down, pretty much, to the back of the order in P22. They're all kind of... P12 to 22 are in this group, and then pretty much P4 up to P10 are in the group in front.
Absolutely super to see this. We don't get to see this level of sticking together much in the rookie races, apart from in the first Masana race in Saturday Split, which was very competitive, and good to see that these guys have all put in enough time to be very close together and be able to keep it consistent, so that we don't see those huge gaps forming.
So we're getting there. The packs are moving along nicely.
It looks like people are being surprisingly sort of smart about this and sensible, and not absolutely diving it. They've learnt from some of the mistakes of some of the faster drivers in the Suzuka race, perhaps. Not absolutely going for it immediately. They've got 2 hours to make something happen, and got to make sure you don't get too many corner cuts or anything. As we see, absolute pile driver Worrell not braking enough with Becker ahead of him, slams into the back of him and throws Becker off the course, allowing Glover to get past now. So Glover up 2 places from that for no fault of his own, and Worrell is definitely going to pick up a penalty from that when the stewards get it.
Everyone just needs to settle down a little bit, settle into a little bit of a rhythm, and just find themselves their comfortable pace. They're going to be lapped a lot. They're going to unlap themselves a lot, and just settle into the race. You're not got to go hell for leather. Like I said, it's a 2 hour, 24-minute race, and we're 9 minutes in. Like you've not got to absolutely destroy people.
And as I watch Andrew and Hudson being very close in their green cars, something else as well to remember is in a race like this, you've got, and this comes back to that Worrell incident, you've got to also learn the comfortable pace of the drivers around you. Sometimes they'll be slightly slower through certain sections, and you need to know that so that you don't make those sort of mistakes.
So the pack at the front are slowly starting to thin out. Lupiaz finds himself a big... Oh, actually, Breining's past Markowski. We've missed that, unfortunately. So Markowski's down into P3. Breining finds himself in P2, and there's an instant up Eau Rouge involving 129, I believe, which was Dan Andrews battling with Ash Hudson, and finds himself in the pit exit wall as well. So Dan Andrews finds himself falling down the order. That's going to put him That's going to put him down towards... Who's coming past him now? 505 is...
505 is Connor Daly, who is side by side right now with it's Hutchison, I believe, but on different laps. So not racing for position there. Just Daly, obviously having a fall from grace early on, is able to soar past and try and make some positions up early here.
So there we go. So let's go back to the front of the order. Let's give some of these guys some time. We're focusing quite a lot on the pack battles in the middle. So Lupiaz is on his 4th lap, and he leads by 2.996 seconds to Robert Brining. And then he is followed by Markowski, who is in P3. And then we've got the pack behind, which includes Dave Jessett, Shane Thomas, Victor Yanaba, who is battling with Leonard Shingle, actually. One of the Shingle brothers still up is fighting up the order. He qualified P12. Finds himself in P7. We've got another yellow flag involving Dan Andrews towards, I believe that's No Name. Is that No Name?
No Name is the
corner before, isn't it?
The left-hander before Puon.
That's Puon then. So yeah, there we go. So he has these rear diffuser issues where they hit the back of the hit the wall so hard coming out of Radion.
Yeah. Some corners like Puon can be very on the limit sometimes, and very much relying on the grip of your car and the aerodynamics of your car to keep you in tow. So when you lose some of that with damage, those corners can bite you a lot more than they usually will.
Definitely, and the thing is though, that Dan Andrews might be able to get himself, if the pit window opens as the eye in the sky Julian Straza suggests, it opens in 12 seconds time, and he is coming through Blanchimont at the moment. So the track limits for NRG that these drivers are going to have to worry about are going to be at the top of Radion. Let's have a little. So just Yanapa absolutely loses all sorts of downforce with his car and just smacks into the wall. Needs to put your brakes on. Oh! Greenish finds his way round. That's not Greenish. Who was that then? Was that? I'm not sure. Greenish had an issue as well by the looks of it.
Hudson in the green McLaren.
Yeah, so finds himself just getting through there. But Dan Andrews finds himself in the pit window there because it has just opened for the extent of the race.
Ooh. Glover very close to hitting the back of Schmidt. So speedy down that.
That's Worrell. That's
down
not
that Schmidt straight.
That is Worrell.
Oh, Schmidt's behind them. Yeah, so he's got in front of them there. So much faster down the straight. Really impressive. And Schmidt there, just holding on to back. Somehow these three drivers found themselves all in the same patch of track once again.
To see how they fare. Like I said, now is the time. You need to start getting yourself in a rhythm. From very limited experience, talking about the experience that we had last night at Suzuka in the 12 hours. The first 20 minutes, you're very shaky. You're very nervous. You need to find yourself in what pace you're going to be battling with for the rest of the race. Like you could have a really quick qualifier like Markowski, who's still really quick in the race, to be honest. But you could be a really quick qualifier, but actually his race pace or his car setup or it might be wrong, or whatever the case is. And you're not going to be racing with him throughout the entire race. As Daly finds himself the first 5-second penalty from the stewards. But you need to find what battle of cars or what group of cars you're going to be fighting with the most. Who your targets are, who you're going to be driving away from. And then to start to get yourselves going. It's the same corners. These guys are probably going to be doing about, what are we saying, 2 minutes a lap. Probably about 80, 90 laps. Maybe I've overestimated there a little bit, but
I'm not gonna make the mistake of attempting maths on stream.
And Worrell, was it Worrell that was behind him? It was Worrell. Has just caught the dirt, very similar, and he's taken out his teammate Smith. Oh, they've both had him out, and Smith's missed the pit entrance. So Worrell's
nightmare for these two.
So Worrell just takes the marshal out going into the pit to repair that damage. But like I said, you need to settle into a rhythm, and that's what Steve needs to find.
That could do with a boom.
It's in there. It's about to come up now, I believe. But it's from Paul Glover's angle, and it looks like Steve catches the AstroTurf on the exit of Blanchimont, and he does catches the exit. Just doesn't. Yeah, the downforce just disappears from him. It puts him in the opposite wall. So let's jump back to some action. We're looking at the pits. And Albu is at the lead of this pack. Blue flagged behind him. Not too sure who that is. But it's
Bruce. Bruce is on the right-hand side there.
It's Albu, Mimmams, Glover. As we head into... I've completely forgot all the corner names. They've just you're the man for corner names. You can tell me where they are.
Yes. And Les Combes is the end of the straight.
Yeah,
Don't grill me too much on corner names around here, or I'll get to the few I don't know.
So I literally know Eau Rouge, Radion, Kemmel,
Yeah,
Bus Stop,
good.
Blanchimont.
yeah, the bus stop that looks nothing like a bus stop anymore.
No. And the Source, which I called Lacombe yesterday, and I didn't actually know that there were two corners with La in them until Lars corrected me. So anyway, you're here for you're here for the racing, not for the commentary, and not for the corner names anyway. But like I said, everyone's starting to find a rhythm now. Markowski putting some pressure on Brining at the front of the order.
Glover also putting some pressure on Mimmans. He's been doing reasonably well.
Oh, there's a yellow flag further down the order, and it's car 59.
That's Bruce, yeah.
Finds himself off track again. No.
I think he was trying to get out of the way of some people who were ahead of him and just put himself in a bad position there. As Mimsman, Albu and Glover very close to each other heading into the bus stop, and Mimsman looked like he was trying to make a go there, but round to the outside, very hard to do there. He's going for it though, he's really putting the power on, and Albu has had the tighter exit, but he's gone a bit wide, which has let Glover get up beside him. Glover slotting in behind him. Gonna look for the inside line with those fantastic Aston Martin brakes. All very close there, the Porsche to the back of the Lambo. This is going to be... this could end up in some action at Les Combes here as they rush down the hill towards Eau Rouge together. As we see Worrell leaving the pits. Yes, I'm starting to be able to tell those two liveries apart.
they're opposite. They're alternate colours,
Yeah.
I believe. One's
Yes.
black. One's with black with yellow stripe. One's yellow with black stripe.
Absolutely. No action made down here in Telecom, so they're just going to carry on in this setup for a while. But Glover seems to be faster than Mimsman in the second sector by the looks of it. So trying to get something at him there before he gets into the first section where Mimsman looked absolutely fantastic on that first run through.
Yes, everyone's, like I said, very... Paul Glover putting the pressure on Mimmans, and they're just trying to fight their way through, really. The people that have fought their way through the most, Cuffon found himself in P22. He qualified in P22. He's up to P9.
Yeah, he's done fantastic.
And just avoiding the instance, the experience that we're going to talk about later on, and last night has definitely taught him well of avoiding as many flying cars as possible. And then we've got Albu, who qualified P23, who's up to P12.
And Glover, as I was just looking at Albu as you said that, Glover just got a dive round Mimsman as Mimsman was slowed down by Albu, getting a little bit loose there into the corner after Pouon, which I myself spun there in my race. It's definitely a place where you can easily get on the power a little bit too early coming out of that sort of left-right there. Right-left. And he did that, and now Glover is leading into the final sector. So a little move around there, and all three of them have caught up to Hudson, who is only just ahead of them now. Hudson looks like he's braking very early for that the bus stop, and
Yeah,
they're getting a lot there every time.
That's what I mean. The two periods in which you're going to grab the most gain round here are going to be that Blanchimont into bus stop section, and the Source up to Kemmel pretty much section. They're going to be the ones you're going to find the most time on other people, as there's so many different lines for it. There's so many people, like you get the drivers that confidence lift through Eau Rouge into they'll lose them time if you don't feel the need to lift and you feel that you can do it flat and not pick up the track penalty, which Ash Hudson in front of us is going to pick up there for that very wide line through the exit of Radion. Then you're just going to pick up so much time on the cars in front.
Absolutely. I think La Source and Stavolo are the two places for me where you can make up the absolute most time, because they're just leading on to those huge straight periods that are
Paul
mostly
Glover
flat
just,
out.
to be fair, took evasive action, and the evasive action is going to lose him some positions, and it's going to put him back in a battle with Smith. I don't think he was going to get himself slowed down in time for the chicane. And
I think we see a ton around Spa at that point. We saw it multiple laps in a row in the F2 feature race earlier with Yuki Tsunoda. And it's such a good place to get a dive because it's at the end of that long straight.
Yeah.
you don't have when you don't have room there, you just don't have room, and you have to exit. So good job there by Glover to avoid it.
Yeah, you have to calm it down. Really, it's just nuts. So let's have a little look at what questions we got. Now we're calming down. The battles are breaking up a little bit. What have we got to talk about this evening? So, Makovsky has a little late break into the chicane.
Markovsky's been slowly catching up to Brenning since he fell back, but he's sort of got to this point now where Brenning can see him in his mirrors and perhaps is being slightly hurried on by this, setting very good lap times. 2:19.5 on his last lap, so keeping a brisk pace to keep Markovsky behind.
Yes, the time is 20. Oh, as Hutchinson may have an issue as he's lifted. Oh, Steve! Oh, Steve, no! Steve, no! Steve, no!
Oh, he's done it again. That
It's the
Audi, we told
same
you, he thinks it's trying to kill him, and we can see some evidence of that in this race.
Oh, it's the same. He can't pit. Shungle just gets past him as well. I believe those two. Are those two racing for position? I don't know if you got.
Shungle is a lap behind Worrell. Because Shungle has pitted and Worrell, I believe, has not. He's pitted twice.
That is the same instant 2 times in a row for those two. That driver. It's absolutely unreal.
Unfortunate. Totally.
Dan Andrews has done the same thing up. Dan Andrews has done exactly the same thing. And Steve Rawls joined him.
It just comes in
oh no, the Lexus. Oh no, oh my days. Dan Andrews does the same thing he done 3 laps ago. That put him into the pit exit wall of
the Audi. Just took 2 lives at 1 corner. What is this beast? How did these people drive this and complete races? It's crazy.
I'm yawning because it's a long day. I'm not yawning because of the action on screen, because these guys are just absolutely... And like we said, we're always learning from each other at ACCSS, and I'm so glad that I noticed in your streams you have the full track map on screen. So that's what I'm noticing where the yellow flags are, and I can see a number, because I was doing the not the corner, or whatever the corner one was.
The like regular map, yeah.
Yeah, regular
little mini map.
Yeah, it took me some getting used to in the actual race itself, but definitely having that full track map, especially if you're new to ACC, and you still haven't quite got used to the format of everything and the way the HUD looks. Definitely recommend turning the full track map on for the race itself. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but actually it gives you so much more information, and helps you be safer, really, because if you're going to notice that there's a yellow flag 3 corners ahead of you and you're going to catch them before that car's slow, you might take evasive action early so that you're not on top of each other as the instant tries to right itself. So we're 10 laps down then. We're about to clock over the first 24 minutes of the race is done. And we've got 2
So
out.
I'm just watching Thomas and Jesset right now, and it brings up something that I was thinking of talking about, because something I found very interesting. In Spa this week was the first time that I used something that wasn't just a basic aggressive setup. And something I noticed when I used that is I was so much faster on Kemmel. And I'm interested how much people think the speed on Kemmel is related to the setup, because you can gain a lot of time specifically on straights through your setup. And watching Thomas just pulling away from people like Jesset.
Well, the thing is, you see them talk about it in F1. Like I haven't watched the race today because obviously I was out, but in qualifying yesterday, you see them talk about, and in free practice, is the car set up for sector 1 and 3, or is the car set up for sector 2? And
Absolutely.
It looks like, because the gap's now closed back down, is that Dave's got a car that's set up for sector 2, and the tight and twisty parts of No Name, Puon, Campus, the like, their car's set up to handle those really well. Shane's got the setup for Eau Rouge, Radion, Kemmel, and then into Blanchimont as well, and it's going to keep him planted through Blanchimont, which is going to, as we'll probably likely see now, is that gap's going to open up itself back out into the straight.
Because in the rookie race, I couldn't tell quite how much of it was the setup and how much of it was taking a good line through La Source and Stavelo, because they were the two places I practiced the most to make sure I was feeling confident in. I focused on them. But in here, you're pretty sure that every one of these drivers, especially when we're watching Jesset and Thomas, who are up in 4th and 5th position right now, they're definitely taking the right lines through here. They're definitely doing everything optimum. So a lot of those differences between the car become a lot more noticeable in these sort of splits, and it's really interesting to see. And the next question is, what do you prefer as a setup? Are you more of a Sector 1 and 3 man or a Sector 2?
I feel that I can gain time in my setup. I feel like I can gain enough time in the Kemmel Straight by having the balls through Eau Rouge Radion to go flat. That will give me enough time. Whether I need the car to be set up for that, I don't know. But I panic when the car starts to slide. So I would prefer to have... I'm arguably, as the rest of the Discord community will know, I'm still at the point in setups where to go faster, I just remove fuel. I don't know what each button does. I mean, we have, one of my teammates does all the car setups for me, and we all drive the Lexus. So he races on the Friday. If the setup is good, for him, he sends it to me. I just use it on the Saturday. And then in the practice things, he'll do the same sort of thing. As we're talking now, like you've said, Dave Jesset says it instantly closed the gap up as we go into no name. But I personally would prefer a car that's stable through this part of the track. Just because if it starts to slide, especially through Pouon, I noticed a lot yesterday in yesterday's race, our Lexus was set up for Sector 1 and 3. Because the middle part of the track, I couldn't find the grip.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because I definitely think, especially when you're a rookie, as all of us are, and when you're going for endurance races like this race is, I do definitely, I am with you a little bit. I do kind of wish that I had changed back to the default aggressive setup for my race to get a bit more stability, just so I could be more confident, because there were a few corners that I was going slower than usual through in Sector 2 because of that sliding you're talking about. But I also on a track like this, when you are racing with someone, I think 1 and 3, if you can handle it, is better, because that's the places where you're going to be making overtakes, and being able to just soar behind someone in Sector 1 just feels so good. And when you can pass them before you've even got to Lacombe, it's nice and safe, nice and clean.
Yeah, definitely. As we got into the sunrise part of that, was actually a lovely timing for me to put him in cockpit cam of Dave Jesset. It's just as you catch the sun up through the bus stop chicane. But I think, I mean, looking at the chat, if all I had to do was ignore Webby for him to leave the team, I would have done it a long time ago. But no, I mean, like I said, for me, I haven't got to. I'm going to use the words of Coach David myself. Of a lot of our drivers, because we're a rookie catered league, as we see Jesset lifts there through Eau Rouge. A lot of our rookie catered league worry so much about the setup, but not actually the way they drive. And to make sure the way they're driving is set up properly. Like, do you have the right FOV for your car? Do you have the right steering lock for your car? Do you actually understand the weight difference from front engine to rear engine cars? Like, the front engine is going to give you more pull. It's also going to be more weighted, and actually, technically in this game anyway, easier to drive. Talking of the Aston, the Lexus. And I haven't tried the BMW, but I believe that is front engine, isn't it? The BMW is front engine in this. So effectively they're going to be easier to drive. And a lot of our drivers in the rookie split, which I am one of them, is worried so much about I'm being rubbish because my setup's rubbish. Actually, I'm being rubbish because my driving's rubbish, and I can't be bothered to admit it to myself that I'm not very good.
Yeah, when you see some of the hot laps that some of the faster drivers can do, even on just your regular aggressive setup, you can do it on just a regular setup.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, as well, is what frustrates me a lot is the track guides we have are really good in the fact that they're not focused on the setup, the lap time. That they mentioned the track guys, I think they come from Unleashed Drivers, aren't they? The ones in our track guide channel.
Very good. I like them a lot.
They are really good in the fact that they show the lap time at the end of what he got. That's his little brag at the end of the video, essentially. I managed to get 5 seconds faster than you, blah blah blah, at the end in a very short 5-second video. But the videos themselves are more on I watch them for this is where I should brake. This is what gear
Absolutely.
I should be in when I drive. But again, he's not using the same car as me, but it gives me an idea of
You can do the small changes between cars yourself. You know, that part you can work out, especially because you're not going to be quite as on the edge as he is.
Yeah.
So as you learn in your car, you'll work out where he's going a little bit harder than you can, and you'll find the exact limit yourself. It's just fantastic for giving you a really quick, really easy way to understand how to get started, essentially.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, yes, I am nowhere near the fastest driver. Yes, I am also the worst driver in our team and the slowest in our team. But at the end of the day, I don't drive trucks for a living, and I also haven't been furloughed for 6 months, sitting on Brands Hatch doing 3 weeks of practice round Brands Hatch just to get used to my wheel, which my other 2 teammates have. So hey, anyway, back to the action. We're looking at Lupiaz is P1, Brian Ings P2.
Koski very close behind him,
yeah,
still
exactly.
just sticking in his mirror, not letting up. Not quite close enough, really, I think, to give someone like Brenning enough pressure to force him into a mistake, but close enough to just let him know he's still there, which is nice to see.
Yeah, so these guys, this is the podium, and they're 12 seconds now ahead of Shane Thomas in P4. And there's a little talk in the chat as well about what. Okay, here we go then, Gareth. What camera do you use while you drive?
I use the.
Oh, if you tell me one, I thought the hesitancy that you had, I thought you were going to tell me a camera that you knew you shouldn't be using.
No, I use the dash cam. I'm a nice boring.
I use the dash. Yeah, that's the one I use. I get too distracted by the wheel moving. But I can see the wheel moving; it's in my hands. I don't need to see it on screen as well.
Yeah, I sometimes like to have the wheel moving just to play around a bit, and sometimes I will I like to drive in a lot of different things. I think bonnet cam is really good. It's really underused. For
I
how much
literally
you see.
use the bonnet cam, and we're going to go through the camera options while I talk about it. Actually, we're going to jump to one of the other drivers because we've been on board with these guys for quite some time.
Yeah, make sure to keep skipping. There's a lot of people still slightly close. A few bits of action.
Oh, who's in between Jonathan Shingle and Hudson on track? Is it Steve? Or is it Smith?
Between Shingle and Hudson is Smith.
Yeah.
Who is a lap ahead of them. Hudson and Shingle. Are they on the same lap? They are not.
I use bonnet cam for GT4s because the camera they have not fixed the camera angles properly enough that if you press dash, in the Expo, which I've driven GT4, you just see nothing. You see metal bars.
Dash is in the middle of the car.
For the what did we drive? The Alpines, weren't it? We drove last week.
You know about the digital dash that you can add, right?
Yes, I do.
In the
but
Alpines and stuff, I quite like that.
I
saw Mr. Git doing that, and I was like, "Ooh."
I've not tried it, so I might have to try it.
Give it a go, yeah.
Steve's not having a good race. He's just got a drive-through penalty.
Yeah. He got it was for speeding in the pit lane. I noticed it when it came up. So
that's a rip.
Yeah, so it's the most frustrating type of penalty to get. I think, obviously not being a top split, I haven't done many pits. So I think I still get speeding pit lane penalties every single time I pit.
That's actually reminded me as well. Is I've just looked at my Discord because I had like 10 notifications, and one of them was from Steve, and it was and it was a message that said, "At least I made the pit window," and that has reminded me we've not spoke about our ones to watch in this race, so we're going to do that quickly now while everyone's just kind of poodling around the track. So our ones to watch this evening. I've got Steve Worrell, and can he make the pit window this time? That's what reminded me. So my one to watch is Steve Worrell, who is currently sitting 24th out of 26 with about 5 pit entries, but he made the pit window. Actually, I think he crashed into the pit lane during the pit window as well, so he's doing a great... He loves a bit of Spa. Who have you got, Gareth?
I've got Florian Lupiaz, and as always, my pick is leading the race and is going to win. And I don't do cast curses, so that's not an issue. It's gonna happen, and he's doing fantastically, building up a nice lead, and he's in the best car as well. So let's go.
Yeah, and Lars has picked Paul Joseph, and are thinking it's finally time for him to grab a podium. He's currently sitting at P14, a lap behind the leaders. So if he can pull it out in the last hour and 48, then maybe he might be able to find himself one.
Made up a good amount of places though, so not a bad one to watch.
No, he's P20, he's up to
places.
P14, so he's doing really well.
I haven't seen him in any incidents either, so
I think
a cleaner race than any of the JJL boys have had.
Actually, I think he's not a lap down. I think it's just our leaders have gone over the line and they're just about to go over the line.
That would make sense.
And then, like I said, Julian there has picked Matt Umona in the Audi, and one of the Audi. Well, he's one of the Audi drivers that haven't killed himself yet, and he currently finds himself. I say that, and I think is he pitted? He has already pitted. So I was about to say he was high up the order. He's in P18 at the moment. Let's jump back to the game itself. So there we go. So yeah, basically, we have a load of fun with picking the drivers to ones to watch, and Gareth's going out for that top commentator award at the end of the season for having the most points in our ones to watch competition. As Jonathan Shingle finds himself at stop and go 30. Must have been for speeding in the pit lane.
Yeah, it's not been mentioned in the chat by our boys, so it must be a game penalty, which, yeah, speeding the pit lane.
That is very unfortunate.
It still happens. He was the Shingle as well. He's another one who's had a bit of a nightmare of a race. Damaged his car enough that he struggled to make it round to pit, and that was pitting before the pit window, so I believe he's even been in the pits twice now. Very unfortunate evening for him so far, but sticking in there, hasn't abandoned, which is good to see.
Yeah, that's what I mean. At least it's good to see that everyone is sticking at it as best they can. Just having a little look through the lap times, and yet Markowski does still hold our fastest lap with 2:18.903.
You do still get double points, so even finishing quite low down, you're getting double the points you would get, which anyone who isn't participating here, that will give you a nice bump up ahead of some of them, as the driver you were just talking about, Matamona, is into the pits again.
Has he had an incident then? Or is he going for some weird... He's not going to be able to get to the end, is he?
He looks maybe a little bit damaged.
There's no chance of him getting... You can get 75... No, there's no chance of him getting full fuel.
It would be hard. I don't know how, because different cars are different for the Ferrari.
That Audi hasn't got a big enough. That Audi hasn't got a big enough fuel tank to get to the end. That's going to have to be a third pit stop for Matamuna. So
it's unfortunate because it's not. Yeah, it's a while actually. It's like probably like 20 or 30 minutes until he could just try and stretch it out.
So Shane Thomas then is the first of our leading bunch essentially to find himself in the pits for a regularly scheduled pit stop. And we're going to take this time as well just to push, as Webby has done there. If you're new to the community and you're in the chat for the first time, you're loving what you're seeing, hopefully, but you don't know where to take part, you can click on that Discord link there that was so kindly supplied by Webby. And it will take you over to our Discord where you can sign yourself up and take part in some of our Tuesday and Wednesday night races. This is round 4. We've got round round 6. We've got up to round 5. So we've got one more week after this week, and then we will be opening the doors to our wonderful drivers and our wonderful new drivers for season 2, which is going to be even more fun than season 1, from what I've heard.
Absolutely,
and I've heard absolutely
only
nothing.
Been getting better, learning a lot from mistakes. So we're going to be able to do some cool things, and we've got some more ideas. Very excited to see what Steve and his boys can pull out to do some fun with.
I mean, I appreciate you go Steve and his boys. It's all Steve. Steve does the whole championship by himself. He comes up with the ideas. That is, he when he was discussing the makeup of ACCSS to a couple of us previously, he enjoys the event organisation side of things, and he loves our ideas and the ideas we come to him with. It obviously helps him having to save some ideas for future events. But yeah, he does all the organisation himself. He does all the championship stuff, and you can in the nicest way possible between the media team and Steve. His job is marketing and graphic design, so you can tell the quality of the artwork that comes through. Obviously has his is made by a lot of us, but obviously has his stylised traits in there as well. Exactly, Webber. You don't want to skip a season. You've got half a Fnatic set up at home. Why? You've literally invested $2,000 to sit out for a season. It's not right, Webb.
Yeah, I could definitely tell you that he for sure doesn't listen to my ideas. As we look back at the front of the field, Brenning is really catching Lupiaz here. Super impressive. I know there's a lot of Brenning fans in the chat. Everyone likes a good bit of Rob Brenning, so shouting out that he's really starting to put some pressure on Lupiaz. Neither of these guys have pit, and we do call Lupiaz the master of the pits. So excited to see if he can keep up with that here. Although he's not quite keeping up with the lap times as he is. Maybe he's suffering a little bit more from
So, Rob, yep.
wear than Brenning is. They have been through coming up to an hour of driving soon, and I definitely know from the longer races that we did that for me the Ferrari did feel a lot different as you go on. It starts to feel looser, and so he could be having some issues with that through sector 2, and that's letting Brenning catch up to him.
Smith joins the group of pitted cars. But yeah, I mean these drivers are just some of these guys are on an absolute another level. Oh, one went there. We go on board 3.
The interesting one that I've just noticed, Steve Worrell. Been having a bit of a nightmare, but he's cleared all his penalties, and he's also cleared both of his pit stops already. So he could be going.
That Audi won't make it to the end. There is no way that there's. Yeah, you've still got 102 minutes left. Like, yeah, there is still an hour. Yeah, a lot of time left this race.
That's a good point.
Like the Aston fuel tank would have seen it. It would have seen us probably an hour and a half, I reckon, for the Aston. We had about, I think, after our hour and 15-minute stints yesterday, we had about 5 or 6 laps left in the tank. So, as you can see in this rear view cam from Lupiaz, though, is Markovski's joining this battle. This is a big time battle for the front 3.
Those three are staying consistent. So I'm now looking around. Yanba is right next to Worrell, and he's in a similar situation, although he has one pit stop to make. So I'm gonna be looking out for some of these guys down the bottom who might be going for a bit of more of an aggressive strategy, trying to get their pit stops out the way early and power on to the end of it. We've got a few who have already done their first pit stops. And if you're saying 1 hour 30, that sort of goes with about how much I think the Ferrari could do.
Yeah.
So we might start seeing more pits around then to try and get them in. But then we also have people who still have 2 pits left to go. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with their strategy.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, everyone's we're not at the stage that you see in, I say, real life, in real life series, in the fact that everyone pits at the same time. We don't have safety cars, so that doesn't tee up a stop. So all our drivers are going to be pitting. There's no out of sync, if that makes sense. Like there's no everyone's in has got their own strategies. They don't really talk about them. I think for me, if I was in this race, I would have gone for I would have gone lighter at the start. So I would have probably gone for like we see Grealish Albu doing now. Is I probably would have gone fuel wise. I would have gone light, full, if that makes sense. Like to get me through to the end. So probably pitted around an hour and 15 remaining of the race, and gone all the way to the end on that, or attempted to go all the way to the end, because as we've seen, you're not in a rhythm at the start. Like you're gonna have accidents. The people are gonna hit you unintentionally. You're gonna hit other people. You're gonna hit walls. Like if you filled for full at the start, and then you have to go and pit, like for example using Steve or Matamuna as examples, they may have filled their car up and they've already had to do 2 or 3 pit stops in 40 minutes. Like I would have started low, done 2. I would have done a short stint, and then gone for an hour and 15 at the end.
I think we can see that sort of mentality in all the other top split races we do as well, where you see a lot of the back markers pitting as soon as the pit window opens. We have much shorter pit window in those races, and a lot of the front runners pitting right at the end because you're trying to hope that the traffic behind you has cleared by the time you pit, so that you can pit into thin air. And that's not going to be possible in this because of how many backmarks there are and how spread the field can get. But there's still the same sort of idea, and something that we saw on screen but we haven't noticed and is probably good to get a shout of now is Lupiaz did pit from first position and is coming out of the pit lane.
He is coming out the pit lane now.
I say coming out the pit lane now, but this is Spa pit lane, so he's come out of one pit lane and entering the other.
Where's 79? 79 is nowhere.
Glover, he's just ahead of them. Josef is the next car coming up to pass them. I'm
just trying to work out where Lupiaz is going to come out, and I think he's going to come out in front of Steve Hughes, I reckon.
It's going to be close. It could be, though.
He's out now. He's
right.
live now, yeah. So Lupiaz then goes from P1 down to P9 with his pit stop. And let's check in a little bit with the chat while we see the battle on screen between Markowski and Brining, and we'll see if either of these two are going to pit. So, what were we chatting about? We've not seen you in a while, chat. How did I like driving the Aston? I thoroughly enjoyed as Rob Brining goes into the pit then for his first stop, and that gives some clean air to Markowski. I thoroughly enjoyed driving.
Hughes did take Louis Paz, by the way.
Oh, he did take Louis Paz.
You were right that he got out the pit first, but he had such a higher speed going down Kemmel that he took him into Les Combes. So down to 10th for Lupiaz. But Lupiaz is fast enough that as soon as he gets into a rhythm, I'm sure we'll see him get past Hughes, but that could be an interesting one to keep watching as well as our front runners.
Yeah, so if he can clear the traffic early, it'd be really good. So Markowski's in a nice little bit of open air. So we're going to. I've jumped onto Steve Hughes for a reason here, and because we're just about to talk about the Aston Martin, and that includes talking about last night's Suzuka event. So 3 different teams from ACCSS entered a Apex Online Racing 12 hours of Suzuka last night. There was also a lot of our community members dotted around other teams as well, but we're going to for now, to save my confusion, we're just going to focus on the 3 teams that we had. So we had Steve Hughes led a team, the ACCSS team of him, Stepan Couton, who is also in this race and currently sitting at P5. He finds himself without pitted. And these two did absolutely fantastic. So that we all 3 ACCSS teams found ourselves in the AM bracket of the GT3 tier. And those guys ended up finishing second in AM, I think 12th in all. They had an absolutely fantastic drive.
It was a bit lower than that in all. It
was
was 22nd.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, I knew there was a 2 in there somewhere. Yeah, second AM.
Very good.
And then the Keep It Lit team, which is myself, Ash and Webby, we managed 200 laps before having to end our race. And the JJL Enduro Racing team managed 100 laps before having... But again, to be fair, it's all of our first endurance races. So that's where I feel that...
They got very unlucky with some tyre issues.
Yeah, definitely.
And, 2, I forgot the word now, punctures across the race, which one of them ended up with them slamming into the pit wall and absolutely ruining their car.
As Couton just takes himself...
Oh, and Louis Paz has spun!
Oh,
Louis
no!
Paz lost it going up Radian and has gone absolutely front first into that wall on pit exit.
That's some big... that front bumper is hanging off.
Yeah, it was full speed into the wall.
See, so you're saying the Ferrari's got an hour and a half in its tank? Because if it has, he could pit now, fuel up to the end and go.
He could definitely do it. I think an hour and a half might be stretching it a little bit.
With some fuel map work, with some engine mapping.
Yeah, with a little bit of fuel saving, he could do it. But depending on how wrecked his car is, if I was him, I'd want to be doing at least down to like 120 sort of thing to feel safe.
Yeah, just to get the car back in one piece and hope that some issue happens with Brining and Markowski at the front. So Brining finds himself in P6 following the pit windows. Shingle's now in the pit himself. So is Hughes, Hutchinson and Grealish. Hutchinson was at the back of the field and finds himself in P13 following all of the issues that they had going on. But yeah, going back...
even pit?
Yeah, exactly. Going back into the discussion of yesterday. So I really enjoyed driving the Aston Martin. It is a really good... I'm not going to say beginner's car as in the fact that advanced or pro or alien drivers shouldn't touch it. I find it a really good beginner's car, a really safe car to drive as Lupaz is really struggling as Shane Thomas gets past him for position and gets himself a freebie. But yeah, it's a really, really solid car, in my opinion anyway, to drive. I really enjoyed it. Will I drive it next season? Probably not, because I want, especially during this like ACC Sprint Series where it's rookie dependent, I want to learn cars, and I've driven a lot of the Aston, I've driven a lot of the Lexus, and I'm torn between the idea of the McLaren or the AMG next season. That's where I'm sitting. What are your thoughts going into next season car wise, Gareth? Or have you not given it any thought yet?
I'm a person who finds it incredibly hard to make decisions, and so I like to rely on just leaving it to the last minute and being impulsive. Like, I'm the sort of person who I sign in for an event with a car and I have no idea what car I want to drive, but I'll either change it at the last minute or I'm just stuck with whatever car I picked. So in terms of cars I like, the Ferrari, obviously I might stick with it just again. I like it. I think it's a very nice car to drive. It feels very stable. Feel very confident in it. But like you, I think in the rookie series it'd be a good chance to try out some new stuff. The AMG is another one that I am also looking at. The AMG, the Aston, both ones I'd like to drive more.
I think the Aston is a lot. You're driving the Ferrari at the moment, aren't you? Is it the Ferrari you're driving? Yeah. So I think Ferrari. The Aston is the safer of the two options you've got, and you probably might be able to find yourself a bit more time in that. Like I said, due to the front engine and the way the game is made to make those cars feel safer to drive.
But I'm not too worried about how well I do.
Okay.
Because it's about learning, you know. So part of me wants to go into a bit more of a difficult car, and also I'm a massive hipster, so I might just drive the BMW.
I was honestly contemplating driving the BMW.
I've been making sure to pick it and the Jag in as many of the community races as I can to throw a bit more variety in there, and it's been fun. Silverstone, I loved it. Nürburgring, I hated it. So I'm still not sure where I stand on it yet.
See, the problem with me with picking the BMW is I was up for it, and then again bringing up the seat today, I then went to Brands Hatch today, and all the BMWs looked absolute rubbish. Like, none of them had. I'm not a livery fanboy, but none of them had nice liveries, and that put me off driving the car. It looked ugly on the track. Like, I'm not saying you need to look good to go fast, but
you do.
You do.
I'm a big livery fan, so you got to be looking.
I don't even think I'm going to drive custom livery next season. That blue McLaren, that blue McLaren of today was like, car boner alert. It was there. Like, it's definitely something that
just been brought up in the chat. So just to make sure everyone's up to date, Lupiaz did a second stop because he hit the wall after Radian and seriously damaged his Ferrari.
He didn't just hit the wall; he made a new wall with his Ferrari.
yeah, that would have been a safety car at least in real life to repair the damage done to that barrier.
So
very important.
As the last few of our drivers are just clearing their first pit stops. When they do,
have a few who haven't actually.
Yeah, exactly. What we'll do is when they've cleared the first ones, we'll go through the whole order and talk about each driver individually, and just give you an update on their race in general, because we have been keeping an eye on what's been going on and around. A lot of our drivers are in the chat themselves, so let us know in the chat what car you're thinking of driving next season and why. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Actually, talking about cars, there was a question earlier on which I had saved, which is, are you going to be slower driving a previous generation car? Now, I don't have enough experience in the matter to give you a definitive answer of yes or no. In the career mode, I'm driving the previous edition Porsche, the 9.
So
it's the 911
sure. Yeah, the old 911.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that the old generation cars are definitely slower. Some of them have some advantages in some areas, like a couple of ones, because the engine regs are different. A couple of them have better straight line speed than even these ones. That's why stuff like the Jag and the old Aston can still be pretty good at tracks like Monza. But the thing I would say to do with it is, yes, you would definitely be able to go faster driving the modern series of cars. So if that is important to you, then definitely go for that. But especially in a rookie series, like David Jessup says a lot of stuff like that won't make that much difference.
No.
None of us are getting to the limits of any of these cars, so...
Well,
if you're
Markowski in
just
qualifying
putting
around
some
here, it probably is.
yeah, if you're in top split, maybe that's different. But if you're in the rookie splits, I think definitely you won't have to worry about hitting the limits of your cars or anything, and you'll if you just drive faster, you'll place higher, even if you're in a slightly slower car. And a lot of how they interact in terms of like better overtaking and stuff, like being faster on straights, that can change so much with setups, even, that it doesn't really matter too much which car you take. So I would say, if you're worried about it, definitely pick the newer cars, 2019 cars, but it's not a big deal if you want to.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was really comfortable driving the. I didn't realise I was driving the old Porsche until I asked our brilliant livery maker Brendan Hobbs to do me a livery for the car, and he was like, "Are you sure you want that one?" I was like, "I'll check when I finish this race." And I looked at it; it was the out of date Porsche that I was driving in career mode. But like I said, I didn't notice it. At my level, didn't notice a difference. Like I said, I'm still at the just remove fuel, go faster level, and I didn't notice the difference. So, I mean, I was doing 202s in the 2018 Porsche round Silverstone, and I was doing 201s, 202s in the Lexus for our actual league race. Like,
yeah,
so
it's not a huge difference. It's the sort of difference that only like real aliens.
Yeah, exactly. Only ones that know that they have to take out like one click of fast stop or fast bump or whatever it is to gain.
The main thing that will affect people at our level is just drive the car that you just feel the most stable in. I think is a good one, because if you can throw your car into corners and just feel confident about that, you'll be able to set the better hot laps than if you're like worrying about oversteer and all that.
Is my car going to kill me in this corner?
Yeah.
And
Just like you can see with a lot of the Audi drivers in this split, for example, looking at the order, we have the highest rate placed Audi drivers are in 11th and 12th, when they, like, 4 of them qualify in the top 10, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, for a lot of them.
But that car's unstable and has killed half of them.
But
so
yeah,
I
I
see
think
more Porsches, interestingly, in the top 10. Which...
I mean, the new Porsche is statistically the fastest car in the game. Like, can you drive it Can you drive it to its optimum to make it the fastest car in the game? No. Like, can I? No. Can anyone that is outside the top 20 in the top split? Probably not. Like, it's yeah. Like, it's now at this level, and like I said, we're catering for the rookie and the amateur and the novice, even the intermediate level of driver. Really, if we include the top split, you're just drive a car you are comfortable and you enjoy driving, or you want to learn. Like
a lot of people in the lower splits have been driving the Aston and the McLaren. I think they are both good choices for new drivers.
I mean, there's McLaren. I think our Saturday split is just chock full of McLarens.
Yeah. If you like a bit more understeer in your car, I think the Ferrari is really stable. If you're more into that sort of thing, and if you like a little bit of oversteer, the Porsche might be your bet. That's what I would say for like new drivers. I think.
Yeah, it's
if you just want to go safe.
As David Jessup crossing the line for the 25th lap, we're an hour. We're actually
in the lead right now.
We're actually coming up to being an hour through our race. So the last two, actually, there's 3 drivers that haven't pitted yet. Jessup, Cuffon and Sachs are those. I believe Sachs has pitted for damage, but it was outside the pit window. So he might be
the first 2 drivers there, and that means that in the first pit window, Brenning has overtaken Markowski, and with the pace he was putting in just before that pit window, not surprising at all. He's really been.
He's made a massive gap as well. It's like 7 seconds. These are on top of each other.
Yeah. It comes down to both fantastic laps and just having your pit strategy entirely right. Although, to Markowski's credit, I do want to point out that he has what I believe is the fastest race lap right now at a 2:18.9.
He does have the fastest lap on the race, and I actually had the overlay on for so long that I thought I'd take it off for a little bit if people were getting annoyed by the purple square.
incredible speed from Markowski. Really mental.
So Julian, no, it's not. I believe it will be coming in the British GT update. Is that early 2021 or late 2020?
It's either end of this year or start next year.
Yeah, so that will come in. So will I forgot to check if the McLaren livery. I don't know what team it is. Do you know what team that blue and black livery was we were talking about?
I don't know
earlier?
the names of any of the GT teams. No,
but,
I only know them by their livery and drivers.
Yeah, but though that livery, I believe, I'm not sure it's in the game yet or not. But when that does come, that'll be my McLaren livery for life. I'm not even going to bother with a custom livery. It's, even if it translates over only partially, like it's still going to be a really nice looking car.
Yeah, totally.
So it looks like our driver's going to say we're up to 8:39 in the morning, and we're an hour into the race. So yeah, we're going to get full. Will we get a full progression?
I think no, not quite.
No,
we'll be very close because we were on.
We started at 4. And we were 4 times. Oh, okay, that's why then. We're at 4 times.
Yeah.
So
we would have needed to get a full 24 hours. We would have needed 10 times.
So this should finish
a little bit longer of a race.
So this should roughly finish in-game time about 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, about midday. Yeah.
It was 2C's Motorsport. Right. Julian needs to stop popping out facts left and right centre. As our leader is in the pits. So David Jessup does enter the pits. Cuffon goes round for another lap, so he is now the leader on track.
I'm interested to see what happens here because we're getting to the time where we're all. I think everyone's pretty consistent that at this time, full tank of fuel, you could make it to the end.
But he's still got to clear his pit
cars.
stops. He can't. He's not. So if it was mentioned, and I'm pretty sure it is a rule that the plus 130 penalty is shorter than a pit stop. But if you get that, you are automatically disqualified. So you have to clear. You have to clear your mandatory pit stops. So
yeah. What I mean is that this will be about the time that we're going to see more people going into the pits to clear their last pit stop.
I get you now.
If we see anyone pit now for their
full.
last stop, it's interesting to see what Kufen and Jessup will do as well, because are they going to, try and do about, 2 halves, do like a 40-minute split and then another 40-minute split, or are they going to try and, do a splash and dash at some point and then do just another hour on a tank?
I don't think Kuffon's gone for the right strategy here, but that's just not knowing a lot about strategy. But I think this is going to hinder him.
I would assume that he's stayed out too long.
I think he's stayed out too long because there is no point doing another pit stop after your next pit stop. And like you're going to have plenty of fuel to get to the end. Your tyres aren't going to fall off the cliff before the end of the race. They might start falling off the cliff at the end of the race, but then you're pitting for no reason whatsoever, really.
Yeah, you're just going to have to pit just to get the pit out of the way.
So Dave Jessup then finds himself, I believe, he's in P5 following his pit. So he's he's back to where he qualified. And he's chasing down Shane Thomas, who's on the same lap and is coming through. That's Laycom, isn't it? What Shane Thomas is coming through now? Going into No Name.
No. Laycom is at the end of Camel. That's the right.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I don't know what that one between Laycom and No
Bruce Shells. There you go. Factmeister Julian got it.
Yeah, he's got the names.
So where does Rob find himself in relation to Kuffon? Kuffon's gone for another lap. Kuffon's still driving in 12 hour Suzuka mode.
Yeah, I think that's what has happened to him. I think he's because a lot of these guys also don't know. They aren't masters of strategy. These are still rookies, even in the top split. And I think he's just in that mode where he's just like, as long as I'm happy and I'm in the mode and I think I'm doing good pit stops, I'm just not going to pit because I just don't want to take the risk of messing anything up. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea. Like, his plan could have been, I'll pit when there's some sort of incident or I'm feeling the car going, and he just hasn't had that yet. But
can you see his inputs? Have you got the HUD on to see his inputs? Because I'd be interested to see if when he gets down Blanchimont, if his foot's flat to the floor and it gives him all the gas, because he's having a few technical difficulties with his pedals at the moment. And
Yeah, he's very close, but I think he still is having the issue where his pedal's only going to 90%.
so this is an actual battle on track for position, which we haven't had in a very long time. It's between Smith, Hughes and Joseph, I believe. That's not Joseph behind him. Joseph's entering Puon at the moment as these two exit. Let's have a little look at Steve Hughes' cockpit cam. See, this is why I don't drive in cockpit cam. You can't see. You're literally looking through a letterbox. Like dash cam.
But you know what? I do feel that, because I was always one of the people, like a lot of people in GT Sport. It's for some reason that's the only game I know where a lot of people drive on bonnet cam.
Yeah.
And you see so much more, and it seems so logical that like that's the best way to do it. But from doing more sim racing, for me, I still drive in the the further forward cam because you see more.
Yeah.
But I feel like you focus so much on just
In front of you.
the corner and the car in front of you that it doesn't actually lose you that much important vision. So I'm not sure. I definitely am with you. I prefer the other one, but I don't think it's actually a hindrance. I think
It just takes that black bar off, which would just distract me too much. So
In some other games, like in Assetto Corsa, I know I fill that black bar with HUD elements, but you can't change as much in this game. So.
Smith one's wide, then going through the source. That's going to open the door up to Hughes as we go into Eau Rouge. Is he going to be flat? A first flat check of this race. He is flat, and he's done it on the outside. Then that's the difference. The Smith's lifted. That's a great overtake. That is. I'll give that a boom replay. It's an absolute fantastic. Yes, okay, he's gone wide on the exit, but that's only because of how slow Smith was going through Radion.
That flow from Spit is more than just your regular confidence lift. That was
oh
shit, I'm gonna spin lift coming out there. He was definitely dealing with something there, which in the Audi is understandable.
Oh, that was for the first flat foot check. Fair play to Steve Hughes. Fair play.
Yeah.
That was on the, and then having to avoid the slow Audi in front, like, is nuts. That is absolutely nuts. Fair play then to. So that's Steve Hughes. Actually, that's his first entry into Overtake of the Season competition coming at the end of the season because the Battle Series was before the championship, so we've not included his fantastic Monza Overtake. Which, if you've not seen, feel free to go onto the past broadcasts in Twitch, have a look, or the highlights of Twitch. Sorry, have a look for the VOD for Battle Italy, and you will at some point find an absolutely fantastic overtake from Steve Hughes into. The second chicane, I believe it was. That was absolutely fantastic there from Steve. So Steve then puts himself into P11. Where else have we got battles on track? It looks like towards the back between Becker and Hutchinson.
Yeah, there's a few people coming together now. Shungle and Jesset are following each other. Shungle put in some good laps. Jesset maybe lost a little bit of pace here after his pit stop, but trying to get back into the rhythm. Leonard Shungle, this is, who's been doing very well this whole race, just slowly and consistently making up positions. Kuthan going for another lap without stopping.
Kuthan 29 laps in so far. So what are our lap count? How many laps behind are some of our back markers? So Dan Andrews has retired. Brulishev
25 laps are the last few of our guys.
Yeah, so. Should we just do our update of the race now? Because we're waiting for Kufon to pit, but we're running out of time. So
we'll see when Kufon pits.
So we'll start from leader, technically on track. We've already spoke a lot about Kufon and the way he's doing. So Robert Brining qualified in P3. Has some great battles with Markowski to put himself up to P2 and started to close the gap down to Louis Paz before Louis Paz entered the pits. So he currently finds himself 29 laps in. And in P2, current leader on track following the pit stop from Kufon eventually when it happens. Markowski then coming through Le Source, had an absolutely mind-blowing qualifying and also finds himself the fastest lap of the race so far. But his qualifying was a 2:17.542 and a solid, I believe, was it 9 tenths ahead of, or 7, 8 or 9 tenths anyway, ahead of the next fastest driver, which was Lupiaz, who is further down the order, and we'll get to him shortly. So Markowski finds himself in P3 currently. Then we move on to Shane Thomas. Actually, I wonder if Kufon's trying to stretch a gap to pit and still come out in the lead, but then I realised how long the pit stop is. If he was in a normal pit window,
Branding and Markowski are.
Yeah, exactly. That's not going to happen. It's 40-second gap at the moment. So we move on to Shane Thomas. Mr. Consistency that is Shane Thomas finds himself in P4, qualified P7, managed to pick himself up a few places with a few drivers making some mistakes. Like I've said, he's got the car set up for Sector 1 and 3, the fast parts of the track, and finds himself closing the door on these drivers. He's got 24 seconds to find, and I believe, if I was Shane, I'd be happy with a podium finish, to be honest. At this rate, he's got a big task ahead of him to close down the 24 seconds. Not impossible, but a big old task, especially to close down the bullet that is Markowski ahead of him.
Yeah.
Then we move on to Jessert and Shingle, both very solid, very consistent drives. Jessert found himself in the lead for a little part of the session. Shingle was actually closing him down.
Jessert, the only driver in the field who is still in the same position as he started.
Yeah, exactly. So the only one that's exactly where he started with Shingle behind him. He qualified 12th and now finds himself in P6. Someone we've not talked about at all, and who's also not had any screen time in the first hour and 12 minutes of this race as we're actually coming up to the halfway point of the race. As Kufon's in the pits, by the way. Kufon is into the pits now, so let's see where he comes out. So Mattia Lysin then in the Nissan GTR. Has he changed cars? I'm sure he was driving the Lexus.
No, you can't change car, but he's changed his livery.
Okay, so Lysin then finds himself in P7. Really consistent drive from him. Like we said, we saw the magic that Lysin could do at Silverstone. We're qualifying at the back of the grid and catching up, I think, 13 or 14 positions. Or no, maybe more. It was like 19 or 20 positions, wasn't it?
It was a ton. It was an absolute ton.
It was a lot in both races as well. So Lysin finds himself in P7. Paul Glover then, Mr. Steward himself. And the butt of a few jokes I heard between Paul Jeffrey and Steve Worrell last night on their stream. But Paul Glover finds himself the third placed Aston Martin at the moment with Kufon in the pits. Really solid drive from him. He's had to battle very vigorously with the likes of Smith and Worrell at the start of the race, and he's found himself nice and clean through the pack. Then we've got Madam Mimmams. Besides Kufon, who started 22nd, is now P3. Madam Mimmams qualified 18th and finds himself in P9. Again, very clean drive from him. Not too many issues. Saw himself he was higher up the order earlier on. I think he's not picked up any damage, but the pit stops for him hasn't quite paid off. Grealish, again, very clean drive from him alongside Steve Hughes and Jermaine Smith. We talk about Jermaine Smith a little bit. The highest of the two drivers between himself and Steve being teammates. And I'm going to have a breath in a second. I'm going to let you carry on with the rest of the order, if that's all right, Gareth.
Absolutely.
So we'll talk about Smith for a little bit. Yeah, he's one of the cleanest. He's the highest placed Audi so far because it's not killed him yet. And I'll let you carry on with P13.
Yeah, down to Paul Joseph, who has made up a few more places than Smith, but finds himself as only the second highest placed Audi at the moment. This car that's killed so many people so far. And then we move on to fan favourite Kolbjorn Olbu in his Reiter Engineering Lamborghini Gallardo. Fantastic looking car. It's great livery with his I think Norwegian Racing Beige is what it was called by some Olbu fans in our chat at one point. Doing a fantastic job, just being nice and consistent, making up those places, along with Wayne Hutchinson in the Mercedes, who has done a similar job. He was our last qualifier on the grid, but has found himself all the way up from 24th to 15th in this race through avoiding some of those incidents that other drivers have been in. Following him to Dennis Becker, who is in the Lexus. Started 21st and is now up to 16th. And then we get down to the sort of shame part of the grid where people have lost positions.
The shame pile.
We have Hudson, who has lost 7 places so far in this green McLaren. Had some good fights throughout the field, but been caught up in a little bit of incidents here and there. And then the saddest for all of us is Florian Lupiaz. My man that I picked for today, driving the Ferrari, he hit the wall very heavily at the pit exit on his first lap out from his first pit stop and had to pit again for damage. Still has one pit left to do
See,
because
I'm
I believe
just
he
about-
did not change tyres and such, and so it did not count as a.
Oh, that's a
full
rip.
pit
I
stop.
was about to say, is that a viewer bug, or is that? I was
I
about
think-
to ask the stewards. So
I think he knew, as you pointed out at the time, that he wouldn't be able to pit and make it to the end, and so since he knew he'd have to pit again, he just left it for that. I believe he
Fair
just did damage and got out as soon as possible. But he has. We didn't see it on stream, but I noticed him spinning at the bus stop as well. So hasn't had the best time trying to come back up in the field and is finding himself a bit lower down. But an incredible start from Lupiaz, getting the lead into Les Combes immediately, and then leading from there until he pit. Then Florian Sachs behind him, another Lexus driver, who right now is being followed by our Lord and Saviour. But he's had a reasonable race. He's only lost a few places from his qualifying position. So has Connor Daly, who was in a huge crash early on. Absolutely wrecked his car and had to pit before the pit stops, which is the story for, I think, everyone who we get down this far for. But has made a decent recovery drive. Has been very fast on his comeback. Matamona behind him, another person who very unfortunately has had some issues. He's just come out, though, of finishing his last pit stop required for the race. So he can go on from the end here, and he is one of our faster drivers in the split. So with people pitting in front of him, and with his speed as he's following Graylish here, Graylish is a lap ahead of him up in 10th place. And you can see he's really pushing Graylish, even though he's a lap behind. He could really shoot up the order after the next round of pit stops.
I don't want to spoil your flow, but that has been cleared for a while, and he's probably going to have to make another pit stop. Him and Steve have had green for ages.
I believe I just saw him coming out of the pits
fair enough.
recently.
All right. Okay,
I'm
I'll take that back.
Pretty sure on this one.
I'll stop interrupting.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Worrell, who also has no mandatory pit stops to do, definitely will have to stop again. You're definitely right with the Worrell one.
And has also had a mare.
Yeah. We're getting to a few of them here. Steve Worrell and Jonathan Shungle, both very fast drivers, especially Shungle, qualified in 4th place. But both of these drivers have just had really awful predicaments. We see Steve Worrell here in this yellow and black Audi, which has been killing everyone, and behind him, Jonathan Shungle, whose brother has done really well, but he has not had the same. Qualified higher, finished lower. Took a lot of damage on one of the first incidents. He spun at Eau Rouge actually just before the first incident. Took a lot of damage. And then we move back to Victor Janba, another incredibly fast driver, but someone who hasn't been incredibly consistent, and is also driving the Audi, who was murdered by his car, as many of these people have been, and is way back in the order now, still has a pit stop to do. Norman Bruce, who had an incident very early, has been a back marker for the whole race, unfortunately, but has stuck it out and is going to get his points. He's going to get his double points.
Double points, so yeah.
Yeah. Going to pick up a decent haul. I believe we pay points for 40 people.
Every driver gets points. So it scales down from how many drivers are in the championship. So I believe there's 33 drivers started in this, so it starts at 33, goes down to 1.
Oh, okay, that makes the maths that I was doing in my head even harder, so I'm just going to ignore it.
So
But he's going to get a decent amount of points.
So where is he? He's in 25th, so he's going to get 16 points if he finishes last.
16 points.
Good. That'll be added to his tally at the end of the race. So we're going to have a little look back at, now we've cleared the order, and hopefully now you're all caught up on today's race and the proceedings we've had so far. Gouffon found himself out in 6th following his pit. He is the length of Blanchemont behind P5, who was catching Dave Jessett, as you can see on screen. They've got that lapped car of Yanaba in between them, who very kindly moves out the way. And now we'll have a little look at Jessett and the rear end of this with Jessett's Porsche as the Shingle Porsche chases him down. Shingle's got definitely one of the nicest liveries in the game. Yeah. It's very clean. It's not too flashy.
Very nice.
And do you know what I'm really impressed by?
Yeah?
We haven't had a track limit drive through.
No, that's very true.
In an hour and 4 minutes, and I had 3 track limit warnings after 8 minutes of our rookie race yesterday.
in one of our races yesterday, in their first race, I believe, well, not yesterday, the day before, in Friday, I damaged my Ferrari enough that I could cut Radian every single lap at full throttle and never get a penalty.
Well, because of the speed.
I was driving so slowly that I was not gaining time, full footing it across the corner.
Fair play to you.
So yeah, but that was actually the race I got top 10 as well. But
I mean, 8 drivers were in the pits at one point out of a 20-car grid.
it was a big crash. It was a big crash in that race. But yeah, I also want to mention in the chat we've had Paolo Angel asking about this, but I'm sure there might be a few newer people in here who are not known for this. So quick mid-race recap that ACCSS is a rookie league who are doing championships. This is the second to last round, the penultimate round of our first championship series. We do Tuesday and Wednesday community races, and we're going to be doing more championship action after this, along with our big enduro in Bathurst that we're going to be doing. So hit that sign up link in the chat to get into the Discord, get involved in SGP. There's a lot of other communities in SGP as well that are running some races. I'm definitely going to be trying to help promote some of the SGP races. They're doing some really cool Assetto Corsa races. And then we have ACCSS Americas, who are also doing a few races. They have a Bathurst race after this split tonight, which people can jump into if they want to get some practice for the later series. So a lot of reasons to head on over there.
Do you know what I'm impressed by? 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 penalties in our whole race. Or 9 things that the stewards have had to look at. In an hour and 24 minutes, there's been 9 incidents for our stewards. Like, it's been really good to see, and really clean drive today. But yeah, like Gareth said, and I will just expand on what the acronym of SGP means for those that are new to this. SGP, it's for simracing.gp. They're the guys that have so kindly offered to host all of our servers for us. So simracing.gp is where you can go to find out where all of the information is for all of our races. But the most designated for us, and specifically for us, is using that sign up link that have been put in below. You can always hit the follow button as well for the stream to find out more information on where you'll be able to find us all and how live we are. You can also find the stream schedule for the official stream that we are here. Can be found in Is Anyone Streaming, and that will pretty much cover all of our spiel. Like I said, we are massively held up and supported by Sim Racing GP. Without them, this simply wouldn't be able to happen. They host all our servers for us, and they do a hell of a lot of the work that for us, and a hell of a lot of the back end work that is done by Steve and Sim Racing GP. But yeah,
they make it very easy to be able to jump into well-organised races with a load of good people, which is the best thing about it, is that you don't even need to, you know, if you don't get into the championships, like you can't get into season 1 just yet, you can still hob around there, just check Sim Racing GP of a day and see what's happening today, and you can get a list of events, and
like I said, the sim
as
race,
it goes on, there'll be more.
The sim race, are they still doing daily? They do still do daily races, or have they knocked that down yet?
They do not do daily.
Yes, they do. So sim race, you need the 2 communities you need to look at joining or apply to join by messaging at Fern Wazza or Steve Warr in the Discord. Is you want to ask for invites to ACCSS Sim Racing Community. Obviously, that is what we're here for. That is what we do. And you want to also try and get an invite to simracing.gp's their own community on their website, and that will literally you'll have races every night. You'll have well organised community races every night, and then as soon as we finish round 5 at Barcelona, we should be able to announce. It
looks like they're back to doing daily races as well.
All right, so we should be able to, and we also should be able to announce a load of evaluation races. So all the new drivers that we've taken on, which has been a lot of you. I mean, the community is nearly at 600 members, and when we started the season 1, we were at 300, so we've pretty much doubled in size. And a lot of you have been entering the midweek races, which count towards your evaluation status. But we'll be doing effectively more evaluation races for any of those that want to take part in them. The top 3 automatically get promoted from the rookie splits, but I'm not sure if it's been talked about yet or even discussed. But I'm sure if some of our rookie drivers if some of our rookie drivers enter the evaluation races and outclass some of the top split drivers, then they will go up. No, it'll be the top 3 because we get top 3 of top split get your band. They get the big old band hammer and are no longer able to take part in any of our championships. The bottom 3 will get demoted into the rookie tiers. So the top 3 from rookie split red and the top 3 from rookie split black will get promoted into the top tier for next season. Automatically, if it's either the choice is you enter top split or you don't race next season. Basically, for the top 3 of both splits. So that's how the system works, as far as I am aware. And I do know quite a lot, not all of it. Steve knows all of it. Steve is the brain behind the machine.
Absolutely, and if you follow our Discord, it will all get announced at the time, so we'll see what's happening.
And any questions about anything I say this evening to check if it's actually true, feel free to message @TheMwazza on Discord. He'll be able to point you to the directions of my potential.
He does get a lot of DMs, so don't feel insulted if he doesn't answer you in any sort of quick time. But he will definitely get to it.
The other moderators that I know are really good at answering questions. If you @Lars Carstrop in the Discord as well, he'll be able to answer loads of your questions for you. And he'll have.
You might not like his answers, but he'll say something.
They'll all be factually correct as well. Oh, bless. So yeah, so @FirmWazza in the Discord. You can also myself or Gareth. You'll be able to find us on the. We're online most of the time. We're awake. We're online on the Discord anyway.
I literally work from home on this computer that I'm on right now, so Discord's never too far away.
So Steve Royals in the pits then for his final pit stop of the evening. He finds himself in P23 so far. And Robert Brining finds himself in the lead with under an hour to go. These drivers all still yet to clear their final pit stops. Be looking, I reckon 40 minutes remaining. We'll see the rest of the. We'll see a big chunk. I reckon in the next 20 minutes we'll see a big chunk of our drivers entering the pits for the last time.
I would definitely, if I was in there, I'd be looking to hop in about the hour mark, because that's where it's easy to the end, easy flat, no fuel saving, no worries.
And that is where it's also easily able to work out the amount of fuel I'm going to need. As Brining overtake goal puts a lap on Kolbjorn Albu, and that's actually going to be up to everyone is lapped up to P14 then. So everyone underneath P14 is now currently a lap behind the leader. And there is a big commendation, to be fair, to be made to our stats man, Julian Strasler, because he, out of his own sweat and blood and his own patience and to our benefit and the community benefit, has been going through and working out the adjusted points totals. Because Sim Racing GP, which I also do kind of like the feature of won't do the adjusted points totals until the end, because it gives it a little bit of suspense, but I also appreciate that some of our drivers, including myself, would want to know exactly where I am right now with my 2 worst scores taken off. So he's gone through.
That's why you need to miss a week, because I know exactly where I am, because I'm where I am.
And I appreciate you missing that week. I really do, because you saved me a lot of brain
I didn't
damage.
have time to learn that track anyway.
Oh, was it Mazzano, wasn't it? It's quite difficult. Do you know what I'm going to miss next week?
Yeah.
I am going to miss us 2 round Barcelona.
Luckily we're in different splits, so it'll be okay.
Yeah. It'll always be fond memories of us 2 in Barcelona. Even fond memories for other communities, but hey ho, we won't go into that this evening. And we're looking at Brining then as he heads through campus, I believe. Markowski hot on his tail. Where is Markowski? Markowski's coming into the 2 right-handers before heading onto the long straight up to Blanchimont.
Jessett is actually right up behind Thomas now.
Oh, he is.
like actual battle material. So we have some
We
good
have some battles on track.
Let's go. Follow him through the other corner on the track that I don't know the name of now, towards Stavelo.
I'm not sure if this is Campus or this is Campus. I know one of them
is
is
Stavelo.
Okay, so Campus is the chicane before that then. As Julian comes in instantly and corrects me. Yeah, I expect...
Julian will know. I'm just trying to bait Julian into giving us the answers so that we know.
It's Paul Joseph then. First one to Pip. First one to clear his pit stop of the top 20 anyway. As Hudson joins him. Jessic looking for the inside then. Now what can he do into the chicane? Can he make it stick on the inside? He does.
The outside, you can get a better run out here, but he goes really wide there, and that's going to absolutely put it off. Being on the AstroTurf, you do not get the sort of grip that you want coming out of there. He's still close though, so he still could try and make a move if he's
I'll tell you what,
feeling more confident.
Flat foot Friday check. That's what it calls for.
Oh boy.
Shane Thomas versus Dave
You're looking at
Jessup.
Shane.
I'm looking at Dave.
Shane,
I'm looking at Dave.
I'll look at Shane then.
Okay, so who's going to go flat? Are both of them going to go flat? We're going to go quiet as they head into Eau Rouge.
Nope.
Oh, no.
Nope. Neither of them.
Neither of them gone flat through there.
Both doing that, the reasonable endurance lift. By the end of the race, when you've your setup's changed a lot, you're not always fully confident on the ways you're going. But it doesn't even look like Jesset's going for it into Les Combes. So he's going to stick behind him for now. Try and just carry on through the middle sector.
It's like we've perfectly telegraphed the Sector 1-3 or Sector 2 setup battle as we head into the last 52 minutes of the track. Because these two are back on top of each other with completely different setups for their car. 52 minutes then left remaining on our race. Looking at the rear of Shane Thomas's car and what Jessic can do. Actually, this battle's bringing Schungel in as well. This could be a three-way battle for P3 with all of these all of these drivers still with a pit stop remaining.
Yeah, absolutely. That could change everything, and it could even change their decision making here. If Jesset really feels like he's being slowed down through the middle sector, it's very hard to overtake through the middle sector. And if Thomas is really set up better for those straight line speed sections, it might be a smarter idea for Jesset to pit now, get out of that position where he's not catching Thomas through these fast sections and he's getting slowed down through the middle section. He can get out of that and get his full speed through the middle section and try to undercut Thomas, which if he really can't get past as he starts banging the flash button on his lights, that could be an option. Much later braking there, but just not close enough to be able to make the play. And onto AstroTurf again, but this time he was a bit later, so he's still got the momentum right behind, but he's defensive line from Thomas, so he's going to have to go wide, and going wide around this corner is not going to work. You're going to have to slot in behind him because you need to get that really close line into the apex of La Source to get the rundown. He has done, so he's going for the momentum right behind. But now we're going to see if the Aston Martin can just stretch its legs on that straight, and with its fantastic brakes,
isn't it? It's already opened the gap after the start by Rouge Radion. Like the gap is just doubled effectively. I know it was a small gap to begin with, but
that's not even a chance now. It went from being could he make it to a just no. So this is what I'm talking about. I think if Jesset is pinned to the back of Thomas by the end of this Sector 2, I think he needs to pit immediately because he's not going to make an overtake on track. No. So he needs to do it in the pits.
He's jumped on board in cockpit cam of Schungel, who has now attached himself onto the back of this battle for third place. And Schungel's got the most to gain here effectively because he has closed the gap a lot quicker than these two have extended it. And to be fair, I've just heard what I've just said back in my head, and that makes no sense whatsoever.
This is one of those situations where perhaps the Porsche in that Sector 2 with the Sector 2 setup is faster overall than Thomas in the Aston, and it's a it could be here a example of the sort of slowdown that Jesset is being forced to do. Shungle was just faster than Thomas in that section, but Jesset was a bit slower because he's been caught up behind here. If he could be going as fast as Shungle, he could be ahead of Thomas without the physical properties.
And that's what I mean. This just adds to your point of you need to get in the pits early, Jesset. Like, you need to go and clear. You need to give yourself some space. You're being held up by Thomas.
He's got such better braking into that chicane. It's amazing. But Thomas dives in.
Shingle, that's opened the door for Shingle to go and attack Jesset then. What can he do?
Yeah. Shingle right on the back of Jesset. Jesset has been consistently faster when they've both been out of it, and I think that Shingle has even less of a straight setup and a little bit of a wiggle out of the source there. We're going to see if Jesset can pull away even more from Shingle
Flat
here.
foot check for Shingle. See what he's doing. Oh, he's not flat, and that's going to slow him right down. It's going to slow him down, but Jesset's also slowed down.
Yeah,
Shingle
they both didn't take it cleanly.
And Shingle went up a gear like in between Eau Rouge and Radion. So, I mean, they know what they're doing. They're top 5 in top split. I don't know why I'm questioning it. But for me, I wouldn't be changing a gear in the middle of that corner. Not for the instability, but for the lack of power you're going to have at the crest of the hill. Like, for me personally, I need 5th to get myself going again.
Yeah, especially definitely with that, going up into 6th before there seems like
and especially with the lift from them both as well. They're both lifted off for them a lot. It's not a lot. There's a yellow flag somewhere.
Yeah, the other Shingle brother has binned it at Stavelo.
Oh, yeah, car 95 then.
Right down at the bottom of the field.
So car number 98 then, chasing car 669, both in the Porsches. It's one of the closest battles on track for position as the pit stops are starting to rain in now. So Thomas is on his way out of the pits. Looks like he's going to be in P8 on the exit.
Yamba just got a drive through. I didn't catch the reasoning, but he is on his out lap. He's quite far out though, so it wasn't anything to do with the pits. I think we might have finally seen our first track limits.
Oh, that's unfortunate for Yamba then. No, it's not from race control.
Yeah.
So race
Must
control
be track limits, as Julian says.
Race control haven't moved their boxes in the spreadsheet since the last time I checked. As Leonard Shingle then comes into the pit lane, that's going to free Jesset up to stretch his legs a little bit and see if he can close the gap down on Markowski and Brining before they enter their last pit lane.
So interestingly, I thought Jesset should pit, and everyone but him has pit now.
But he's now got the clean air.
Yeah, exactly. But the decision-making changes as soon as Thomas pits, because that gives, as you say, just the clean air to set those sort of laps that he was, and he hasn't set a faster lap than, at least with the attack from behind by Shungle, he hasn't set a faster lap than Thomas was setting. But this is going to be the real test for him now. Can he blaze some absolute tracks and put himself in a better position?
So Thomas is the leader of the ones of pit so far. Where is
Smith and Graylish also having a little bit of a fight here, beside each other on the back straight. Smith's actually just going to take him. Oh,
it's a great move there.
It's a pretty ballsy move there.
Put Smith up to P8 then. I'm interested to see where Shingle's on the way out of the pits. Where's Thomas? I think Shingle's done an undercut. As Grealish dives in the pits.
It's hard to work out here because as you,
Oh,
you,
no,
you
he
called
might
it
not have.
perfectly last time with them coming out, but
He might not have.
yeah, I don't think he has. But also, you've got to remember in here as well that when you get out of pit lane here, it's not like a lot of other tracks where you're up to speed instantly because you have so much momentum coming all the way from the source up to that point that you'll be going much faster on Kemmel as it is, and he's
There we
just
go
been
then.
passed.
So Thomas is past Shingle in the pits. Our leader is in the pits then. Rob Brining. He finds himself clearing his last pit stop. Tell you what, Smith was really loose coming out of Freddie on there. Just caught it on the back of Shingle's cam.
Yeah.
So Shane Thomas then finds himself in the lead on track with the cleared pit stops.
Now the question is, where's Jessic going to pit into? Will he manage to pit between them? Or will he manage to take them? Not pitting yet, still just keeping it in there.
Yeah,
Might be going for a splash and dash near the end.
His last lap wasn't fantastic for him anyway. To be fair, neither was Brining. I reckon. Oh no, because that's included his pit stop. Yeah, because he's crossed the line now. About to say, I was like, Brining done a 2:28. I'm like, come on, man.
So Brining, Graylish, two of our later runners to have cleared their final pit stop now, and they can move on to the end. Graylish was looking a little bit sluggish there as we saw him getting overtaken by Smith in a place you normally wouldn't expect an overtake. So looks like he was maybe getting a little bit wayward on those tyres and has thrown them in for a new pair of boots. Brenning has fallen down to 4th so far. Where is Lichin? Lichin is very far around, so he's 4th is where he's going to come out.
I think you might be a little. Simon Scream caught us all out here because Brining's actually be down to he's down to 6th and the exit of the pits. Lyson and Glover are already past the exit. Smith comes in from P7 then and opens the door to give Shane Thomas some more clean air. That's actually Shane may be dropping Smith some fivers here, left, right, and centre because that's gonna give him a lot of clean air. Really, he's got 188 in front of him, who is Hudson. And then he's got
Markowski coming into pit from first on the track so far.
So where's Brining? Brining's coming through no name at the moment. And this is the
pits on this are very long, so he might not make it, but it's going to be good to see if he does. We have a few of our front runners pitting now, Hutchinson and Smith. Actually, not front runners. I forget that I'm on the top 10 now. I'll call them front runners, whatever.
That's right, they are. They're up there in the.
Yeah, they're doing.
41 minutes remaining. Then half an hour left off the pit window.
Still got a few guys left to pit across the field.
We're on board with Robert Brining at the moment. We need to see if he can make that gap up to Markowski. And if Markowski's not moving yet, I'm going to say the job's done and Brining's in P1 after the pit stops.
He is not moving yet, and I totally agree with you. I think this is...
Where's Thomas? So I think Thomas might be P3. Because Thomas is only just coming out of Puon. Markowski is moving now.
Markowski's just gone. So he is behind Jessit. This timing screen is the worst thing ever, and I hate it. He's behind Kufen. He's behind Litchen. Behind Paul Glover.
Here we go then. So Brining coming past Markowski in the pit lane. So Brining puts himself up to P1. Then on track for this 2.4 hours of Spa Round 4 Championship for ACC Sprint Series. My name's Dan Terry and I'm joined by Gareth Ronda in the commentary box for this evening. We'll go to the last 40 minutes, the business end of the race. And the bookies' money is on Brining to take the win, bearing any major incidents or back marker traffic. So he leads from Markowski.
So, Rob, yep.
And then I believe it's Shane Thomas currently in
Thomas.
P3 on track. So that means... what's the gap between Shingle and Thomas now? It's not
Schungel is
massive.
just ending Kemmel, and Thomas is just starting the rundown from La Source.
So it's only about 5 or 6 seconds then. There's the gap between Thomas
I want to shout
Schungel.
out Brenning, Markowski, Thomas, and Schungel, because they've all had incredibly consistent races, especially obviously Brenning with the pace he's been showing, but all of them, I can't remember any of them setting a foot wrong.
No, they've not made any mistakes today, to be fair. I've got a really dodgy sound bug, so I do apologise for that in the stream. Let's try and get that if we change the cars a little bit. Maybe we change the camera angle a little bit to get rid of it. There we go. I think it's back. Yeah, that's the sound of the Aston Martin revving through the gears as they come through the bus stop chicane to complete another lap to Stepan Couton. Currently finds himself in P2, and he must be going. He's going to have to pit with at least 12 minutes left on the end of the race. Because then the pit window will be closed.
I hope we don't see anyone trying to leave it right till the end and not realising when the pit window ends, because that would be unfortunate. We have 5 people in the front left to pit and 2 in the back, perhaps a few more right down the back.
Lyson and Glover have just entered the pits, one behind the other then. So this is for position. You might have to stay on board with this one, you know, because see who gets moving first.
It definitely depends. Like, if one of them has more fuel than the other in and doesn't have to fill up quite so much, they could definitely jump. I believe Richmond was just in front of Glover, right, when they entered?
Yeah, so Glover was P4, Lyson was P3.
Excellent.
Let's have a little look at the pit window. Let's see who gets moving first then. So there's Glover's Aston Martin, and we're just coming back to have a look at Lyson's Nissan GTR. And Lyson's on the move then. So Lyson has managed to keep that position from Glover. And Glover gets himself moving as well then. So no undercut there made by Glover in the pit stop range.
He's even stretched out some there, so very nice stop from Lichten. Very, very efficient, only taking as much as he needs. Good job. And on track for 10th and 11th position right now, Mimsman is hunting down Hughes. He was a little bit slower on the last lap overall, but he's caught right back up onto the back of Hughes now. I believe this is our only 4-position fight, unless I'm missing one. Smit is right by Graylish as well. Smit might even be even closer to Graylish. 13th and 12th. They are 4-position. And yeah, the other fight, I was correct, it wasn't 4-position. So Graylish and Smit looks like our closest battle right now. Graylish with the nice dull Porsche livery. Smit really getting the speed up there. Some NASCAR bump drafting going on down the back straight here.
This is where the Audi might kill you, but he seems to be through Blanchimont perfectly fine.
He took a really bad line through there, didn't he? Where he was really close to the corner. He didn't go out. Graylish, after getting a little bump draft, went out onto the outside to get the nice open angle back in.
Yeah, so I thought that they were already at Blanchimont with because of how quick Smit caught up to the back of Grealish, because I thought, well, Grealish has lifted, Smit hasn't, because you don't need to lift necessarily. It's more of a confidence thing. But actually, they were at the turn before going into Blanchimont that he was up the backside of Grealish, and that's just, in fact, maybe just shot a little bit of life into the veins of Smit, maybe realising this isn't going to be as easy as I previously expected. As we see Becker and Donald clearing their final pit stops as well. Just Jessic, Couffon and Sachs, the same 3 as last time, left to clear their pit stops.
Hughes and Minmams keeping an even pace as Smit tries to catch back up to the Porsche of Grealish.
This is the other battle on
The cars now up to 7th position, are a lap behind our leaders.
Just a word of where the timing gaps are. Greining's 23 seconds ahead of Markowski in P2, who is a further 23 seconds ahead of Thomas in P5. So they're pretty spaced out, and it's realistically where Jesset can, because we saw Thomas, Jesset, Schungel really close before the pit stops, and Thomas and Schungel are now 12 seconds apart from each other. So it needs to see where Dave needs to pit. We need to get Dave in the pit. So we need to find out where he's going to fit into this gap, and I'm hoping it's behind Thomas, if I'm honest, because I am back in the Aston Martin racing team today. And
this Smith-Graylish fight is
it better?
Possibly the most blatant example of the setup differences that we could talk about. Because look how close Smith is now compared to how far away he was.
Yeah.
When he went into Sector 2, right up
same place
behind.
again.
This time he gets a good line for Blanchimont.
How hard is he going to... Who's he going to make a move on the brake? And he's closer than he was last time. He looks for the outside. Oh! That's a move and a half if he pulls that off. What a move from Jermaine Smith. Well, that deserves a boom replay in the chat. That was a fantastic... Later on the brakes, round the outside into bus stop. And can Grealish reply? Can Grealish reply into La Source?
Taking that tighter line, you definitely have a harder time getting in. But La Source is really hard to overtake as you need to cut it close, so there's only really one line through the source. But did he get enough momentum to really follow it down the hill now? We saw that Smith was making up a lot of time in Sector 2, so maybe Graylish can put a move on him into Les Combes if he can get a better run through the first sector. The Audi is scary through
it's really loose.
You can see them reacting to this as now Lupiaz is joining the fun in the Ferrari, absolutely blitzing down the straight. This is 4th position as well. Lupiaz has found himself back up into 12th and has just dived on the inside of Graylish.
So in the space of, what, a sector? Grealish has gone from 11th, chasing down P10 to 13th. That's
absolutely. He just, where are you coming from? And suddenly there's a Ferrari on his inside that he wasn't waiting for. Went really wide there.
So we know
Lupiaz.
Yeah, we know that Lupiaz has got the Sector 1, Sector 3 setup because the sector times he's putting in there are quicker than Markowski in periods. So it's just that he's put
on those sectors.
Yeah, so it's just I think Grealish got scared of Smith with the loose Audi in front of him, so it's lifted for Eau Rouge Radion, and the Ferrari's gone, there's a big enough gap here, I might as well just go flat. I know I can do it.
On the last lap, the lap where Smith overtook Grealish, obviously he was a little bit faster, half a second faster, but Lupiaz was a second faster than both of them and is now hunting down Smith to try and get another place up in the last half an hour of this race. Coming into Sector 3 where his Ferrari is going to be absolutely flying. But we saw some very good braking from Smith last time, so he might be able to pull something like that and stay ahead, but it's going to be very hard to stay ahead of this Ferrari coming through Eau Rouge, because...
Just a word of warning, Dave Jesset is in the pits, so we will have to have a little jump over to that battle shortly.
Oh, absolutely. Got to see where he comes out.
So the target for Jesset is to fit in between, or ahead of Thomas in 5th. That is the target, but I hope he fits in the gap between 5 and 6, personally. But talking about the last lap, by the way, I noticed where you said they're a second different. Actually, Lupiaz was on a 2:20, Smith was on a 2:22.5, and Grealish was on a 2:22.9. So Lupiaz found 3 seconds in that lap alone. That's an absolutely phenomenal drive from Lupiaz. He's now chasing down the back of this Audi. Let's have a look how loose this Audi is through Radion. Oh, he was going to get a track cut, so he lifted. So this is Lupiaz's all day long then. Let's have a little look at
how fast this Ferrari is going to catch this Audi. He's passing already.
Only half, going into the braking zone then. So Lupiaz makes up another position, puts him into P11. He's got a 32-second gap with 30 minutes left. So he's going to be a second a lap quicker to Madam Mimmams, which, let's have a little look at last lap. He is a second a lap quicker than Madam Mimmam, so he could put himself in contention for top 10 at the end of the race. And meanwhile, let's have a little look at where Jesset is in comparison. So Thomas is out. Thomas is already through the pit exit. Where is Schungel? Schungel's coming up to Eau Rouge now. I reckon Jason...
So this is the point we're talking about where Schungel is behind, but he has a lot more momentum. It doesn't look like it's going to be enough with how far ahead Jesset is, but Shungle's going to get a lot closer. But like you said, he got himself pitted right into the position he wanted to, so these guys have all been keeping consistent laps.
Yeah, so the gap has massively widened, and I think, if I'm honest, I don't understand, because I don't understand strategy anyway. I don't understand why Jesset didn't pit first. If he pitted first, he could have been in the position Thomas is in, where he's 8 seconds ahead of Jesset and 11 seconds ahead of Shingle, where they were within a second of each other. So obviously, I don't know what damage
there from Thomas, getting the strategy right on this occasion.
And our last pitter is in at the moment with Couton. Then he's going to be the big winner of the day. Is Stepan Couton? He's P22 at the moment. He's about 60 seconds behind the leader, realistically, after the pit stop. So he's going to find himself in this. I reckon he might find himself in this battle for P6. You know.
Yeah, I'm thinking coming out around Jesset or Shungle could be possible for him here, really, as we just saw them leave the pit, and that would be great. He's actually out already, so nice little splash and dash. And Jesset is still not even up to Blanchimont yet. So he definitely could get out here if he's...
Yeah, Thomas is only up to... He might even jump Thomas then with this pit stop from Couton. Because Thomas is only just coming through bus stop, so maybe not. You probably need to be...
Yeah, he's halfway through the pits, so he's not going to get Thomas.
He might get Shingle. He'll definitely get Lyson. He's definitely P6 after this. Because there's a 22-second gap back to Lyson.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's going to come down to that interesting thing where even if he gets out ahead, he might be losing on the momentum gain.
Yeah, Shingle's
we see him just getting to get on the power now.
It's going to be close between him and Shingle for P6,
Jesset's
I believe.
Just past him.
Shingle's coming up Eau Rouge Radion now.
Yeah, really close. I think Shingle might have the momentum. Matamona could spoil this by being sort of in the way of these two a little bit as a back marker. You see he gets past. Shingle has more speed, but it's coming up to Lacombe, so it's going to come down to whether he can make a move into Lacombe, as he will be at a higher top speed. Moves to the inside, but not quite close enough, and so he has managed to jump. Kufan has managed to jump himself into 5th place, starting from 22nd on the grid.
Fantastic drive from Kufan. That 919 Aston Martin's had an absolutely wonderful drive. We obviously questioned the length of these since, but I mean, the strategy's paid dividends today.
Him and Hughes showing their now endurance pedigree that they've built up with their race last night. Doing it again in the big long races. Both of them made up a huge amount of positions. Very well done by both.
God, I've just noticed that Hughes qualified 25th. Oh, he didn't even press drive. So Hughes could have been up here in P5 or 6 if he pressed drive. Because he would have been higher up the order. He could have even been in for the lead. As Masamuna really plays havoc for Leonard Shingle behind. He struggles to get past that lapsed Audi.
Yeah, Matamona isn't your usual lap traffic because he's fast enough to be up there with some of the big boys a lot of the time. So definitely not the easiest man to just hop past.
Definitely, and I'm having a bit of the, you'll know what the reference I'm about to come up with, a Paul Jeffries moment in the fact that I am getting really hungry.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling a little bit of that, and I'm sure a few of our drivers are as well. Paul Glover I saw in the Discord before this talking about he wasn't sure if he should eat beforehand. With how I'm feeling right now, I'm hoping he did, or he's gonna have a hard time catching up to Litchen, who he is just a second or two behind on track.
So Couton now starting to find a bit of a flow as he finishes his outlap. And he's now... Actually, I think Shingle just tapped the wall through... what's the one after La Source?
Rouge.
I thought the straight had a weird name. My bad.
I don't know. If the straight does have a name, I don't know.
That gap's opened up a hell of a lot.
I have definitely tapped the wall on the straight a few times, though, trying to get the correct angle for a Rouge.
Steve Wall's in the pits for the 5th time.
This man likes having a lot of pit stops, I'm telling you. I don't know what it is. He enjoys the comfort of the pit lane.
He is currently 3 laps down on the leader. By the way, no one go back and clip my lap count estimate.
Do you know what you should check out though? P3. Thomas is right up the back of Markowski.
Let's go, Thomas. Come on, my man. I reckon Markowski's had an issue. Markowski's got a loose front bumper, has he not?
Markowski's last lap was a 2:25.
Markowski's got damage as well as he goes out onto the wides. And Thomas is through, so it looks like Markowski must have had an incident because he's got a loose front bumper.
He's bapped his front nose on there, and Kufan is now coming up behind him. This is going to be Kufan's first flying lap, so we're going to get to see how fast he is there. We'll see how fast Markowski is as well, because that 25 could have been the lap he got the incident on, or that could be how slow he is with damage. I'm hoping that isn't how slow he is with damage. Or
if that's how slow he is with
really
damage, he's going to fall all the way. Like Lysin may even be within it. Well, to be fair, it's still 23. He could be in. He could just fall. He might have to pit because this. If he's the Thomas 223,
Markowski. It looks like he has done another 225. So he is that slow now.
That
He's
is
5 seconds off the pace of Thomas from that damage, and Kufan 220. So Kufan, who's just right behind him, is now 5 seconds faster than Markowski, and he's going to start falling like an absolute stone as we see another penalty. We haven't seen one for a while. 5 second penalty.
Oh, that's why Steve's in the pits. He received damage from a. He's received damage from a contact from pit 987 in turn 1. And that's what Steve into the pit 7.
That's Litchin 987.
Yeah, so I think it must be Litchin must be lapping Worrell. As there's a Lexus jumping the curves of Becker.
Yeah, Litchin had a slow lap as well, so hopefully Litchin doesn't have damage just like Markowski. Hughes is a while behind, but in the 20 minutes that's left, if Litchin has as much damage as Markowski, he could easily fall prey to Hughes and perhaps Mimsman.
So let's do some quick math. We got what 2 minutes 20 laps. 10 laps remaining. We're losing.
That's on stream. You're a brave boy.
Markowski's losing. So Markowski's fastest at 2:18. He's doing 2:19s consistently. So he's losing 6 seconds a lap. So whoever's within a minute of Markowski could take. That's where he's going to fall down to. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3. We're looking at Lupiaz in 11th. Because Markowski was averaging. Markowski's fastest lap 2:18.903, but was averaging at 2:19s.
You can see now he's starting to get a train of backmarks behind him. Sachs, Becker, and Daly, with Kufon right on the tail of this. So Kufon gonna have to grab through a few backmarkers, but then he's got Shungle right ahead of him. Shungle maybe catching these back markers is like catching himself a little defense net to slow people down who are just trying to catch him.
But the back markers are quicker than him.
Yeah, because he's no one's slow in this. No one driving at full pace in this split. Even the worst drivers are.
Oh, that's so, Markowski needs to pit. He doesn't need to pit because he's going to lose too much time pitting. But
yeah, it's a really hard decision when you're this late. I wouldn't pit.
I wouldn't pit.
I would just hang on with it here.
He's going to lose.
He's going to lose a lot.
Holy moly.
You can see Kufan.
Oh, he's spun.
Blue and orange Aston Martin.
Oh, and that's caused
Kufan's hit a back marker.
So, the Lexus of... Who's 90? Who's 51? Who is that Lexus? Markowski, I think, is going to have to... He's just reversed himself into the wall as well. So, Couton... Oh, and tell you what, Shingle was all over the back of Couton.
Shingle is because Kufon hit Daly. No, he wasn't Daly. He hit one of the other Lexuses, spun him, and has now been taken by Daly. So he's behind a back marker and has lost a load of time in that.
So Couton in for the final podium position has Leonard Shingle all the way behind him. We know that Couton was gapping Shingle, but then we got into the scenario with a lot of traffic. And how much damage? Shingle flashing his lights at the back marker of 5:05, which is Daly, and he's 3 laps behind, so he could be Nice review was out the way. Shingle pushing hard for this last podium position. Oh, it's really heated up in the last 98. Effectively, we now enter the scenario where our drivers are most comfortable in, and that is sprint race till the end.
Low fuel, sprint to the end, absolutely. Markowski now down in 6th place. He's just trying to drag his car home with Glover bearing down on him to take that position. Litchen a little bit further behind. He's going to have to gap him a little bit as well. Hughes and Mimsman have fallen back a little bit now, but even they could be looking for an extra overtake by the end, as you said. And Lupiaz following Brenning now.
Yeah, Brenning's just put a lap on to P11.
But Lupiaz still consistently on those 220 flats. Him and Kufan seem to be the fastest people on the whole track at the moment.
Yeah, so Kufon just put in a 220.286, which is only 3 tenths slower than his fastest
lap. That was
lap.
before the crash and the damage,
Yeah.
so this lap's going to be a lot worse.
How much has that crash held up our drivers? Let's have a little look as they come across the line. Complete lap number 52. And to be fair...
4 seconds.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm looking at Shungle, who's actually putting a 221, which is faster than the lap previous.
So Shungle, he sees his target now, he's on the foot. And this is the lap that's really important to see from Kufan. If Kufan can get back down to a 220 flat like he was before, then he's fine. He can just keep going. And he was consistently faster than Shungle before. There's no reason he can't do it again. But if this lap is particularly slower than his last, that could mean we could be seeing a new podium sitter. I swear we've added FFS as a permitted term like 100 times now.
Yeah, and the bot doesn't... Yeah, the bot is doing a fantastic job at not allowing that through.
Yeah, he's doing what he's been told to do, bless him. Bless his cotton socks.
It has allowed a lot of other questionable things through the order, but... Markowski finds himself in P6 then, following that big... I'd be interested to see back in the replay what caused the incident in the first place.
Oh, the original incident for Markowski, you mean, yeah.
Yeah, what caused the 6-second time loss?
Well, Markowski in his first race with ACCSS Championships was chasing down Afik for the lead and was possibly about to take Afik out of the pits before spinning into the pit wall. So it's been something that he has improved upon over the season, but he has been someone who has been incredibly fast, but partial to a little bit of a spinella every now and again.
Kufon's now opening the gap to Shingle slowly but surely. I think Steve Worrell has retired to pits.
Unfortunate. 47.
Or he's on pits number 6.
Or he's on pit number 6. Either is possible.
So Rob Brining then is in the lead and finds himself, I believe it's 46 seconds, the gap to Shane Thomason.
Lupiaz has overtaken him, which shows just the speed of that man. So he's on to his next target to try and regain some positions, having fallen down the order so much. And I can report that Kufan is back onto 220, so he hasn't suffered major damage, and he should be fine to keep pushing on in this race.
Who is car 59? Bruce. So Bruce has spun and then collected Robert Brining. That's the why that we might see some more slower times from Rob.
Oh.
It's car 90 and 919 is a racing incident. Car 14 and 19, so they're all fine then. So everything's cleared so far. You come to the last 15 minutes if you want with us, Steve.
Yeah, if you want to chat, you are welcome.
But yeah, Louis Piaz then is finding the form he needs to find. Now, he's only... No, he's got to be long. Yes. He's only about 10 seconds behind Mimmams.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have a go at Mimsmams and perhaps even Hughes, and then we could see Arkovsky coming down the other way as
He is
slowed
falling.
even
He
more
is
in his
falling down
last
the order.
few laps.
Glover's just got him as well, so he's now down to P7.
He did a 2:28 in his last lap.
He's 10 seconds a lap slower.
10 seconds slower than his fastest almost. Really upsetting. I'm going to have a look on board and see how his steering is. Oh yeah, he's got the wiggles in there.
Let's have a little look at Markowski with the cockpit cam, yeah?
Yeah, when he was going through those corners, he was not looking confident. His steering looks sort of.
Oh, he's not got.
Yeah, he's turning a lot. He's turning a lot. It's not bent out of shape, but it's very numbed. He's having to do a lot to get the car to move at all.
There we go then to Markowski. Will he make the pits? Or will he try and push through the last 13 minutes with this damage? I mean, he's not slowed that down.
At this point, you don't pit. This is like a sprint race. In those sprint races, you never pit because it's just not worth it. As Litchin hits in front of him, Litchin will be able to pull out this gap and make this place. That's actually an interesting point that I hadn't thought of. If Lupiaz is fast enough to take Mimsman and Hughes, he doesn't need to take Litchin to get the place. He only needs to get within 5 seconds.
Sorry, I was reading something else at the same time. What was the... So,
if Lupiaz gets past Mimsman, Hughes and Markowski, he only needs to get within 5 seconds of Litchin to take 7th.
Yeah, so Lupiaz has cut the gap from 26 seconds to Mimmams to 14 in the past 6 laps. So he looks on target to make that goal. His license now
getting any more will be hard, but I think he can take Mimsman.
And that gap's now opened up to 2 seconds to Kufon then.
Kufon and Shungle both putting in really fast times right now, really pushing each other to get this. Kufon is still drawing out that lead overall, but on certain laps, Shungle has been right on pace with him. He just hasn't quite been able to keep that pace as consistent as Kufon has.
Pit window is closing now.
There you go then, the pit window is closed. So in the last 12 minutes of the race then, let us know if you've been in the chat since the start. We've got a few VIP badges we can give away. We use them for special occasions such as our first big stream where someone was here for, I believe, the whole I think it was Rob and Julian, where they were here for the whole 4.5 hours of our first big boy stream. So let us know in the chat if you've been here since the start. And I will hit you with a VIP badge.
Kufon has just set his fastest lap of the race.
He's flying. Absolutely flying. Haven't you already got one, Julian? And
Julian can't have a VIP badge because he's a moderator.
oh, we can take the moderator off him. No, we couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Why am I unable? VIP, Adam.
I think John Turner should probably get a VIP just for the Silverstone incident.
He's been gifted a sub by Webby today, so that's enough.
Okay, he's got his present.
I didn't take your mod off you. You've still got your mod. Have you?
No, you can't have mod and VIP.
Ah, see? I mean, Julian is going to kill me for this amount of chat interaction.
I'm just saying, Turner says he'll never live that Silverstone incident down, and I haven't let Dan live down the time he punted me in Barcelona, which was the first ever ACCSS race.
Shouldn't have lifted.
I don't think you're ever going to live anything down.
Shouldn't have lifted. So how are we looking? Because I've taken my eyes completely off of the race
We're
screen.
looking pretty similar to how we were. Brenning and Thomas stretching out some really good leads at the front. Kufen and Schungel just very slowly slipping apart. Markowski is still between Hughes and Litchen. Hughes is catching him at a reasonable pace, but behind him, Mimsman is a little bit slower. It looks like Mimsman's had a few incidents recently because he has fallen behind Hughes a bit more than he was. Lupiaz is getting quite close to Mimsman, trying to make something happen here. But nothing quite yet. I do not see any super close battles.
There's not a lot going on at the moment, is there? I mean, after 2 hours and 16 minutes of a 2 hour 24 race, the field does start to immensely thin out quite a lot. What have we got in the incident file? Not a lot to discuss. A few racing incidents, nothing to worry about too much. Between 90 and 919, as well as 59 and 4. 14 and 95 deemed a racing incident, but can't see why. 95 and 32. 95's found himself in the steward's office a few times today. That'd be Jonathan Schungel, a qualified P2, and finds himself 4 laps down.
Schungel, poor boy, has had an absolute nightmare of a race today. From spinning a few times early on. And on the opposite side, Leonard Schungel has found himself from 12th up to 4th. So very good job from him. Him and Kuthen are probably the closest two that we have on track right now to each other.
Yeah, they're the two that are closest for the battle, and actually Kuthen's pulling away from him.
Yeah, Kuthen has been, like I said, Schungel can match the lap times, as you see with his last lap time to Kuthen. He can pretty much match those lap times, but he just can't do it quite as consistently as Kuthen has been doing. Kuthen it's basically flat 220s with only like a 2/10 distance every lap for like the last 10 laps now, pretty much. So very good by him. We have an interesting little, it's hard to find my way to it, but there's an interesting little gaggle of cars coming through Stavelo right now, with a ton of people, mainly backmarkers, I believe, all on different laps around here.
That 505 90 pack, is that the one you're sort of around?
Here we go. We've got Daly, Becker, Daly, who's a lap behind Matamuna, Becker, who's a lap ahead, then Matamuna, then Hudson, who's also a lap ahead, and Schungel, who's also a lap behind, all in a nice little pack here of complex battling up and down the order. Blue flags being shown, but to no avail, because everyone's blue flag to everyone here.
Hey guys.
Hello, how you doing, my friend?
Badly.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Well, you need to
A bit of a nightmare today.
Fancied crashing every lap apparently.
have a fiddle with your mic, because you're all over the place with your mic.
Say again.
Your mic is either falling out or cable's falling out. You're a little bit.
Oh dear. Well, yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for such a great job on the stream, and thank you to everyone watching, and thank you to the drivers. I had an absolute mare, but that's why I wanted to do a sprint series, because I am clearly no good at endurance.
Yeah, there's been a few people who have made some incidents throughout the day and haven't had a great day, and it's definitely a different discipline that you need a lot of practice to go on top of your already a lot of sprint practice to be good at endurance, which makes it all the more impressive when some of these guys like our Schungel and our one of our Schungels at least, and our Brenning and Thomas and Kuthen have been so consistent.
Yeah, I was battling for I think it was a top 20 position with Jonathan Schungel, and we were battling quite nicely, and then Mattia hit me at La Source, and I was like, oh, that's the last thing I've got to race for, and then I needed to make another pit stop, and it's just been a bit of a nightmare. But thank you so much for a fantastic stream. I was watching along with it pretty much when I knew that things were not going well for me. So it's been really enjoyable. Again, thank you.
That's all right. Go and have a detox, a couple of beers or a cup of tea, and enjoy the rest of your evening, Steve. Thank you, thank you for thanking us, but thank you for putting this whole sort of thing together and actually giving us something to do.
It's all good.
Because in the saddest way of putting it, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here anyway. So you're allowed a bad race every now and again.
Yeah, cheers, man. This will be the one that I drop the points, I think. Not too bad in the end. All right, cheers, guys.
See you later, Steve.
Yeah, have a good day, bro. The voice of Steve Worrell there, our founding father, the man who set all this up. So
6 pit stops deep. He's got the right to be a little bit frustrated there with how his events gone. Actually, while the chat with Steve, I was hoping it wasn't going to get too close, but Dave Jessett's he's been overtaken by Paul Glover. So Paul Glover's come out of nowhere and found himself in P5. I thought Jessett was close to overtaking Paul Glover, but actually I realised there that Paul Glover was further behind. And there was definitely...
interesting. 2:23 last lap from Jessett, so not super slow.
And he's slow now as well.
Or he's just made a mistake before then, perhaps.
He's slow now as well. He's just falling away from the back of Paul Glover, and he's falling into the grips of Mattia Lysin then, who's in P7, but he has got that 5-second penalty. Steve Hughes is closing the gap. I don't think he's going to close the gap quick enough though to the back of Markowski.
Okay, do you know what? I might have found out why.
Why?
I'm not entirely sure how these work, but he is in fuel map 8.
Well, Dave
I believe
Jessett's
that in
fuel
every
map 8.
car, 1 is the main fuel map. Right?
Yeah, so he's
so he is fuel saving.
He's not just fuel saving; he's in pace mode. Like that 8 is pace car fuel. Like 8 is.
So yeah, he's really must be really on the limit with fuel. Unfortunately, the UI doesn't work when you're in the car to see how much fuel they are on. But he must be really on the limit with how he's fueled himself and struggling to finish on the tank that he has. And that's what's dropped him those places now. So he is joining the likes of Markowski and those who are going to be slowly falling down the field, it seems.
So we're on to our penultimate lap here as well, ladies and gentlemen. This 2.4 hours of Spa for ACC Sprint Series. It's a top split round 4, and I've been Dan Terry and been joined by Gareth Ronda in the commentary box. And like I said, Robert Breining's absolutely dominated this race from front to back pretty much after clearing the majority of the traffic of being Lupiaz and Markowski. He's the first of the clean drivers effectively, and that's what he's been rewarded with this evening. Him, Thomas, Kufon, Schungel, no issues throughout the race, and that's what's found themselves in the front 4 positions and the front 3 on the podium for this evening. So we are going to be having a driver of the day vote for this evening, and it will be for P1 all the way down to P26, and we're not going to do it via the bot. We're going to do it in Gareth's way of doing it. We're doing it manually, so that's why we're going to include every single driver this evening for driver of the day. And what I'll do is I'll run through the order at the end, and then you can vote in chat for which one you'd like to see. It looks like
Trying to have a little look through. I'm not certain on my call there. It seems a reasonable answer, but I'm looking through and every Porsche seems to be in map 8. So that might be another piece of the UI that doesn't work. I'm pretty sure I saw an Audi in map 10, but while you're sorting other stuff, I'm just gonna.
That's all right.
Have a look. Oh, here we go. Matamuna is in map 2, and all the other Audis are in map 1.
So it must be somewhat working.
So either all the Porsches are having fuel issues, perhaps in a smaller tank, or there's something different about that. But that would be an answer. Jessett is definitely falling down the field, and he set a 2:23.9 last lap, which is not fast compared to how he has been going and how a lot of these other people have been going before that. And Markovski must have had another spin because he set a 2:49 last lap and is now in 11th behind Hughes, Mimsman, and Lupiaz. How close is Lupiaz to Mimsman? He is right behind now, just following him through into No Name Corner. And he's still keeping up that consistent 220, so still a good second or two faster than Mimsman and closing in.
I'll tell you what, right?
He doesn't have long to go.
Kufon and Thomas. This is last lap Lando for Kufon. And he's four tenths behind Thomas for P2.
How's he managed this? That's amazing.
That's like a solid. Like, he's literally had probably 10 laps back to back at 220. And he's closed the gap right up. So we're on board with P3 at the moment. We're on board with Couton. He's chasing down the back of Thomas, and he's got the whole lap to do it. And there's a back marker in the way, which is car number. You can see the 4.
Does that look like?
It looks like an Audi.
Andrews.
No, Andrews is retired. Andrews retired lap 8. So if it is Andrews, fair play to him.
Right, it's the other
74.
Audi.
Could be 74.
Joseph.
Yes, it's Paul Joseph then as the back marker.
Just shout out, Julian has done some Googling for us and found out that 8 is the regular fuel map in the Porsche, so it's not fuel map. He's had some sort of other issue. He could still be low on fuel and just lifting and coasting, but
Robert Brining, by the way, is just about to cross the line to take the 2.4 hours of Spa trophy for ACC Sprint Series. Fantastic drive from Robert Brining there, consistent from front to back, and that secured him the victory at the end of the 2.4 hours. But as we jump from that, Kufon is all over the back of Thomas.
Absolutely, really close here, but this isn't a place where you can overtake. He's sticking his nose in there, but that's really dangerous because the other Aston is going to have to come up. He sort of maybe messed up Thomas's line a little bit there, so he could make something, but Thomas is going to stay to the inside. And the back marker absolutely gets in the way. He gets punted there, and then he punts the other Aston as well, so he looks like he's going to give the place back. He's going really slow there, is he? No, he's just... Yeah, he's going to give the place back because he knows he'd get a penalty there anyway. So he's just going to give the place back.
Well done.
You can't blame him for going for that.
Oh, definitely not. You can't blame him at all.
Last lap move, but he wrecked it, unfortunately.
You can't blame him at all for going for that move. So they'll do that for... I'm going to put my vote in now so I doesn't get lost. And of course I make sure the bot is working. And it is. So... we have the bot set up for P1 to P20, and anyone below P20 was at least 6 laps, 5 or 6, or at least a couple of laps down anyway. But we'll read everybody off, and you can vote for whoever you like. So get your votes in the chat now for driver of the day. And we're just going to go through the order as we look at some of these cars as they come through. Hughes is still racing with Mimmams. This is still... for position on track. Where is Hughes? Hughes is coming into the chicane, and we've got Mimmams and Lupiaz. So, these are the final order of tracks on car. So, Robert Brining is in P1. P2 is Shane Thomas. P3, Stepan Couton. P4, Leonard Shingle. P5, Paul Glover. P6, David Jessett. P7, Mattia Lysin. P8, Steve Hughes. P9, Madam Mimmams. P10, Florian Lupiaz. P11, Mike Markovski. Jermaine Smith is in P12. Ashley Grealish in P13. Colby on Albu in P14. Paul Joseph in P15. Wayne Hutchison P16. Dennis Becker then in P17. P18 Ashley Hudson. P19 Florian Sachs. P20 is Noah Matamona. And below that is Jonathan Shingle, Connell Daly, Victor Yanaba, Norman Bruce, Steve Worrell. And then we've got the DNF of Steve Worrell, Dimitri Bludyshev and Daniel Andrews then. So get your votes in for driver of the day. We're going to jump back over to the podium. So jump back as if
there's a lot of good options that you can pick as well. Obviously, Brenning and Thomas are very good options for just how clean they were throughout the race, how consistent they were, making no mistakes. Then you have Kuthan, who brought his way from 22nd all the way up to 3rd. So a huge run to get onto the podium for Kuthan. Very well worth a vote. A lot of these other drivers made up a load of places as well. Jesset was very consistent. Steve Hughes, 25th to 8th. Another huge leap up in positions. So you could give it to Lupiaz for his incredible comeback, although he did have the incidents earlier, or Markowski for his incredible early race with the late thing. I wouldn't be surprised to see some Olbu love in there, 23rd up to 14th. But yeah, there's a lot of good choices here, and I think any one of them could absolutely deserve it.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to give it a last little minute for a driver of the day vote to be put in. Like I said, every driver is able to be voted for. And we've got 9 votes so far, and it's a tie currently for a couple of the positions. So every last vote will count. Make sure you get them in the chat. Oh, it was a great experience. So the first 2.4 hour race / stream we've done, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. To be honest, we covered quite a lot of things to discuss and talk about. A lot of action, a lot more action than I first thought we were going to have on track anyway. And yeah, absolutely, just a great race throughout. What's your thoughts been on the whole proceeding?
Yeah, it was great fun. We had enough action throughout to keep us entertained. We had some incredible battles, some really good overtakes. We had a couple in there that are definitely going to be up there for overtake of the season. Some mad moves, some really impressive drives, some great times set overall. Very impressive to see people dipping so low in their times, even in the race. And incredibly clean as well overall. We saw a few punts, but a few punts were always going to happen, and it's incredible to see overall how few there was. A few incidents.
So exactly. So we're going to move on to round 5 at Barcelona, the final round. We'll be back with you on Friday. But last, before we go there, we've just closed the driver of the day vote, and driver of the day goes to. It's very close between P1 and P3. P1 has won driver of the day. So well done, Robert Brining. Gets the win and gets the driver of the day as well. Fantastic drive from him. Like I said, 45-second gap to P2. But I will just give a shout out to Kufan. He's had an absolutely fantastic weekend. P2 in the AM 12-hour race. Finding himself P3 as well. So excellent work from all our drivers. Thank you very much, Gareth. Like I said, we'll be back with you on Friday, myself and Lars, for the final round. Rookie split reds head round Barcelona. And we start to find out who's going to be in the top split for next season and who needs to get themselves into the endurance races to see if they can qualify. But like I said, any closing words from you, Gareth?
Yeah, just I'm going to throw the sing up in chat and remind anyone who's new here to go and head into the Discord and sign up. We have the ACCSS Americas Bathurst race later tonight. There's going to be 2 races on Tuesday and Wednesday, as we always do. So get in there, get signed up for Sim Racing GP, join those 2 races, and join some of the Assetto Corsa races, especially that Sim Racing GP themselves are doing on their official account. Because there's going to be a lot of rookies in all of those, and we're going to have a lot of fun driving around. Prepare yourself for the second season, because it's hopefully going to be great. And I am excited for the last round in Barcelona, even though I don't love that track. Going to be good to watch the top split at least.
Excellent, good stuff. Well, thank you very much for joining us in the chat this evening, ladies and gents. You've all done yourselves immensely proud, especially if you've been here from start to finish. Any feedback, as per normal, can go in the Discord in the stream feedback. We'll get to it probably tomorrow, because it's been a very long weekend for myself and obviously from you as well, Gareth, as you've been racing and commentating as well. So we're going to leave you for this evening. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate. Like I said, if Steve didn't put the leagues on and you guys weren't in the chat, this wouldn't be here. So we really appreciate everything. So we're going to leave you for the evening, and we'll see you next Friday. Goodbye.
I was going to have a special guest for this.